Yo, yo, what's good? Um, what's going on? What's good? What's good? It is the No News, Just Facts podcast, and I am back in here, not for a long time, just for a short amount of time. Um, I wanted to get into all the things that had happened, transpired today. As far as I can see, let me see here. Hopefully everybody's doing well. It is currently 12 midnight. That would mean it is Saturday. Let me see here. All the things that have transpired today. Hopefully y'all are doing good. Um, yeah, man. I don't really got too much going on. Just thought I'd come back and hit y'all with a double back, one more again with another pod. You feel me? So I don't really have a monologue or anything like that. We just chilling, just relaxing, just chilling, doing whatever right now. This is not a structured. Well, yet again, this is not a structured show. We're just piggybacking off of the strength of yesterday's show. So, without further ado, let's get into what's been going on today. Let me see here. See what we got going on over here. All right, so let me get the window open. We're not prepared. Y'all give me a moment. Let's see here. All right, here we are. Here we are. So first, we're gonna start with the wait. Yet again, I gotta do this. We're gonna start with we're basically gonna start with of course, the Kodak Black situation. Kodak Black and 6ix9ine. You know, as I said before, he agreed to do a song with 6ix9ine, and basically 6ix9ine, not 6ix9ine from what Whack 100 says. $1 million was paid to Kodak Black in some sort of way. Some sort of way, somehow, he was paid an amount of money to do this verse. I heard the song, and basically, I ain't gonna lie, this is your run of the mill Tory Lanez impression. Like the beat, just everything from the beat to like the hook just sounds like something Tory Lanez would have made if he was out of jail right now. Kodak Black definitely did diss 6ix9ine on the same song that he was paid to be on. It's crazy as hell. I don't know why. You almost kind of wonder, like, I saw like a post that said something about like they asked Mexican OT, like, hey, would you do a song with 6ix9ine? He's like, yeah, I would do it if my fans want it. And then he's like, well, just because he did what he did or whatever. I don't want to mess up my money just because I want to fulfill this prophecy of being this big gangster guy. At the end of the day, it's a business or whatever. I mean, which makes sense, But some people still not leaning on, some people who were brought up in the streets are still not feeling that Kodak Black made the right decision to do what he did, basically. Just me personally, I like I said before, like business is business. Nothing can stop business. Like at the end of the day, rappers got to make their money. I don't know. I don't understand it for some reason. Like I said, I don't understand it. Business is business, and you blocking and missing out on money because you got. I mean, it's not bad to have morals and wanna basically not commit to things that don't line up with who you are as an artist. I get that, but like, you know, I think now after Kodak has had the chance to basically do this song with him, I'm sure it'll be more. I feel like it'll be more rappers trying to like do features with 6ix9ine now. A lot of them don't want to be judged just off the basis of like, oh yeah, he's a rat, he's a snitch, he's all of that, whatever. But at the same token, it is. I don't know if it's really that deep. I don't know. But the song, as I stated before, is just like a really I don't know. It just sounds like a Tory Lanez throwaway for some reason. That's just what I feel like. And of course, Boosie is still talking about it, and people are mad at him about whatever. Because everybody likes Kodak Black. Honestly, Kodak Black makes solid music, in my opinion. I used to hate Kodak Black's music. I used to hate it because I couldn't understand it. Couldn't understand his lingo. Couldn't understand how he talked or rapped. Didn't make no sense to me. But after a while, it's kind of like I kept hearing like fire songs, and then I'm like, oh okay. Now I get it. Now I get why people like him. Now I get why the young boys love his music. They said that the right here. So on this post it says that Kodak Black was dissing 6ix9ine so much that the engineer had to take out a bar that was gonna be in the song. It says, "I'm so raw, I got a rat giving me cheese." It's crazy, man. And 6ix9ine don't care nothing about it. Man basically paid for somebody to expose him. That's the music business for you. I'm move on, man, from that, Move on from that. We're going to go to the next thing. So Quavo is releasing an album called Rocket Power. I'm not even entirely sure if I could like play the music on here. You know what? Let's just do our darndest for it to, you know what I'm saying? Let's just see. Oh yeah, it's for my own good that this isn't playing right now. I ain't gonna lie. It's for my own good that this isn't playing. But in the let me see here. I don't know why does that happen? This is the second time that's happened to me. Let's try this shit. Let's try this again. This is the second night in a row that's happening to me. doing the same crap that it does. I don't know why. Let's see here. You know what? I got a better idea. Just so I don't, just so I can avoid copyright. I'm gonna just mute the sound and then come back, and then I'll let y'all know. All right, man. So, man, I ain't gonna lie. It's not. It's the first time I'm saying this. Like, that actually sounded fire. Um, he said one thing that really standed out. He was like, "My cousin jumped out the car. Had to keep going. Now he's saying we ain't blood." What did he say? Now he's saying we ain't blood. That's crazy. It does. People in this comment section are saying like satanic ritual. Um, it's a little. There is a little bit of symbolism in this thing that would make somebody say, "Hey, yeah, that that is what it is." I'm not gonna say I believe in that stuff or not because I mean, the entertainment industry is a is a is a scary Hollywood and the entertainment industry is a scary place in the first place anyway. So it's like, um, it doesn't matter like what we think we believe we think we know as far as like it pertains to things like that. It's like there's fact and there's uh just opinion. A lot of people, a lot of like people who think are like conspiracy theorists. A lot of them are like people who take like um people who take things to make them think like that. I that's what I feel like. I feel like the ritualistic talk just comes from people who like do you think everything is a ritual? Like, is everything a ritual? There's no way everything is a ritual because I mean, you wake up and like just because you say it's a satanic ritual, right? And let's just say it is. Let's just say a lot of the television we consume, a lot of the music that we consume, does have its connotations as far as satanic rituals, right? Is everything a satanic ritual? That's where I would be leaning on to. Like, how far does that go? Does it stop when you go to sleep? Does it start again when you wake up? Does it start with your mind? Are you brainwashing yourself to think like that? Like I said, I'm not saying that none of that the evil is not out there. But I don't think they would. I don't think if it was something like that, I don't think that would be like. I don't think it would be made easy to just read like that. You know, because if that's the case, there's everything has that. Even Christian music has that. Even Christian music has some disguise people in disguise who, you know, are doing whatever they're doing, and they're not really actually doing it for the Lord. So, but I mean, you know, the whole entire line about his cousin saying that we not blood and everything like that, that's remains to be seen. People saying that he sacrificed Takeoff is crazy. I can't believe people would even like go so far as to say that. That's very like that's weird. That's weird. It's weird, bruh. But you can't. I mean, you can't really tell people how to think. I guess they just gonna feel how they feel about that. I don't know. I don't have a thought on that. I don't really listen. I don't listen to Quavo anyway. So I don't really. I haven't listened to the Migos since the last time I listened to the Migos. They're just not my style of rap. That rap, that's luxury rap. It's luxury rap. I don't really do luxury rap that much. Unless it sounds like something, I mean. But yeah, that's what I think about it. What else we got up here? What else we got up here? Get that out of here. What else I got up here? Let me see here. I'm gonna come back. Oh yeah, okay, so phenomenal. Messi had his first game here in America. Of course, if y'all don't know, Messi plays for the MLS team in Miami. I can't remember the name of the team. But yeah. Messi won his first game as a MLS player in America. It's probably one of the greatest. It's probably one of the best decisions made in 2023 to bring such a high caliber GOAT as Messi is to America. You know, this is a different landscape as far as soccer goes. You know, soccer is not even that big in America. It's probably our third or fourth or fifth biggest sport. Of course, you know, basketball, football. I would say basketball, football. I'd even put hockey over in the top 5 for America as far as sports goes. Soccer is like way down the line, you know. So, yeah, he won his first game. The GOAT himself. Oh yeah, that's the name of the team. Inter Miami. What a weird name for a soccer team. Inter. What does that mean? Inter Miami. What does that mean? You know, I tried to look up if, you know, Messi would like even be coming anywhere close to where I live, and I'm just like, them tickets is very high. I ain't gonna lie to you. very high. But I mean, of course, it's messy. So I mean, it'd be worth it. But yeah, he's here in America, doing his thing and getting Americans interested in soccer for the time being, because until basketball comes back and football and all of that, and then of course soccer is gonna be back on the back burner if it's even around by the time basketball starts, football starts, so on and so forth. But yeah, shout out to Messi, man. Let's go past that. Oh yeah. So this is I don't think I need to like explain the 6ix9ine Kodak Black lyrics. I don't really want to explain. I mean, it's there in plain sight. He really talked his talk on there. I mean, but So see here. So now I feel like I'm back on YouTube. We back up on here on YouTube, and then like, oh yeah, I want to get on this right here. Shout outs to Jack TV. So hold on real quick. Change my setting. You feel what I'm saying? Change the setting. Let me see here. Is it this one? Okay. See. Okay. Jack TV gonna be reacting to will her fiance cheat on her with her best friend? Sounds like something straight out of a Jerry Springer episode. Let's see what's to it.
Welcome back to another episode on Jack TV. Today we put together and executed yet another loyalty test. This loyalty test is a bit different. Here's why. Sierra reached out to me because she wants to put her best friend fiance to a loyalty test.
My best friend is about to move into this house with this boy, but I put them together and he was like wanting to be with me at first. And I don't want her to move into the house.
I can see why. Damn.
On her. So she's supposed to be on her way right now.
Look at her.
I want us to like figure out
what she look like. Let's see what the problem is.
I honestly don't know. Like I feel like she'll be.
So wait, the friend is putting the her friend's boyfriend to the test, huh? That doesn't even make any sense. What? Why are you even doing that? So you see, problematic when it comes to a woman having friends. When a woman has friends and they're doing too much, like that, like the friend is like a too much friend doing stuff like this. Like, really? Why she all up in our business? Getting you to do a loyalty test on me? Like, come on, relax, bro. Like, oh my God.
Okay, just to make sure she don't move into this house with him and he cheat on her, but then she's probably like, why am I doing this about her boyfriend? You know what I mean?
All we were waiting on was M3 to arrive, so while we wait, this is the perfect time to show you guys how to make some quick cash.
Damn, bro.
What's wrong with you?
I just need to earn some more money on this pizza.
Bro, didn't I tell you all you gotta do is go to one of my videos, click the link in my description, or scan the QR code and get a free $750?
You never showed me how to do it.
Bro, come here. I'm trying to show you. You being hard-headed. All you got to do is, by simply clicking the link in the description or simply scanning my QR code above, you will have to first answer a few survey questions, followed by optional offers. Then you will get the option to complete deals to claim your award. Depending on how many deals you complete will determine how much money you will earn. For instance, if you complete 5 deals, you can earn $100. If you complete 10, you will earn $250. And if you complete 20, you will earn $750 by simply downloading.
You know how long that's gonna take, bro? I'm not knocking his hustle, but like, come on now.
I already got 250. I'm still
Come on now.
So I can get some more money.
It look like you playing a game to me.
How many people has that worked for?
I got the 750.
How many people has that worked for? How many people got 750 doing all of that?
You guys want to make 750 just like Jalen just did? All you guys got to do is click the link.
Shout out to him for the hustle, but like, yeah.
According to
That's too
Sierra,
much.
she was talking to Perry First, who is now currently M3's fiance. But things between them never got serious, resulting in Sierra.
Oh, okay. Wait, go back.
According to Sierra, she was talking to Perry First, who is now currently M3's fiance. But things between them never got serious, resulting in Sierra.
That's why she pressed. It all makes sense now. he was talking to her first before he got with her friend. Okay. And now they about to be married. Okay. So there's some jealousy. Okay. Okay. I see. See how some women are, man? That's crazy.
Our best friend up with Perry. And as time went on, they have grown together and are now engaged with a happy family. However, regardless of them getting this far in their relationship, Sierra still feels like Perry tries to flirt with her on the fly. M3 knows nothing of this.
Jealousy.
She's coming to meet with her, so Sierra can tell her this information.
Boy, jealousy. Jealousy.
I'm okay, but we about to find out. Sissy,
Hey.
what's
Let's
the
see.
deal?
What she look like?
I do loyalty tests on my channel. It's called JTV.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Hold up. I ain't gonna lie. The best friend dude actually does look better than the one dude is getting married to. I'm not gonna lie. She does look better than her. But, you know, that's beside the point. Still some jealousy there.
Boyfriend is not loyal to you.
So before y'all got together, he was always flirtatious towards me. So I didn't like him, so I put him with you, and y'all worked perfectly fine, right? No.
Wow.
Because y'all like it.
Wow. Go back. No. Go back. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So
That's crazy.
I didn't like him, so I put him with you, and y'all worked perfectly fine.
And now you jealous that they actually like each other, that they actually liked each other, and now they about to be married. I see. Now she looking at you crazy for saying it like that. She's like, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Said you put him on me, like that's crazy. Man.
No, listen.
That was shade.
Because y'all like it. Y'all was.
That was
I don't
shade.
Like him. He wanted somebody to talk to clearly.
So was you aware that they
Wow.
were,
He wanted somebody to
about to
talk
talk?
to.
The way she said, like, I put
Exactly.
him with you,
That's some
the kind of tone
shade.
that's throwing me off.
That's shade,
So
bro.
let's dial it back
Okay.
and let's talk about what this is.
That's
You're saying
crazy.
it's a loyalty test and he's flirting with you.
So
We ultimately got together.
right.
Okay.
So y'all
And
got
you
together. He's
don't
flirted.
like
He's
it.
flirty with me, flirtatious with me. So I want to make sure that you're not moving into this house, and he's.
How you even listening to her? That's the crazy part.
He's flirtatious with me. Who else do you think he's?
Why
flirtatious
you listening to her?
Flirtatious as in how?
with?
Let's see.
Oh, like you look cute. You look good. You look cute, or like stuff like that.
before y'all
my
got
God.
together, they
Oh
were
my
talking.
God.
So what made you want to take that step in? Like,
Minimal
okay, I gotta fuck with this
compliments.
nigga. You know what I mean?
I guess just like I'm not really
Minimal
taking this
compliments is
serious,
flirting, bro.
I didn't take that serious.
It's not
So,
serious.
I'm open to, doing it because,
And then you want to know for sure what's really going on.
no, I know for sure.
No, I'm
just,
saying
I
you
want to
make
show
sure
you.
he's not. Oh, you know he's not gonna. Okay.
Okay, so from your own personal standpoint, do you feel like your nigga loyal though?
I do. That's what I'm saying. I don't mind doing it. Now, I'm not crazy about stuff like this. I've never done anything like this. I feel like we have a solid relationship. But I feel like if this is something that she wants to do, this is my girl. So if she's feeling that way,
She
about
not your
somebody
girl
who
if she
I'm
doing all of
literally
this,
moving
man.
into a new home with,
She not your
I
girl.
want to show her like,
Okay. That's
You
fine.
bugging.
I like
I
that
love that
energy
you
about
like.
it.
I love that you cool
but
with doing
I'm
it.
putting you to a loyalty
Cause you
test.
bugging, exactly.
All
You
right, man.
bugging.
I think we good. I think we gone.
M3 and Perry were currently looking to move in a house together, and thanks to M3, we knew this information. So we rented out a model home to make it seem like Perry and M3 was coming here to view it and potentially buy. We placed cameras all over, and we hired our good friend Vanessa to show off this crib so Perry wouldn't suspect a thing when Sierra makes her move. All right, so just act like you're a real realtor. I know you don't know what you're doing, but just sound confident.
Okay, period. I got my notes.
I got it. Once everything was in place and we were ready to execute, we called M3 to see how far out they were. So just give her a quick call real quick and see her ETA.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
Hey, boo. What's up?
Hey, I was trying to see how far are you?
We are literally like 13 minutes away.
Okay, perfect. See you when you get here.
Okay, babe.
Okay, bye.
I say, y'all ready?
Yep.
M3 has now arrived with Perry, and we are now depending on Vanessa to show this house without him noticing she's not a real realtor.
Hey y'all.
Hey, it's hot as hell out here.
Hey everybody. I'm the realtor. My name is Danessa.
Danessa, nice to meet you. It's hot out here. We love the house upon arrival.
All right, and I'm gonna just go ahead and show you guys. Now this is the house. It was built in 1979, but we have
1979?
done a lot of remodeling here, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Hell no.
Okay, guys.
1979 is crazy.
Main living space. Now, before we get into this,
It looked
area,
nice
this
on
is
the
patio
inside, I
space
ain't
right
gonna lie.
here, and then we're gonna go upstairs and then circle back around.
Okay.
Girl, you can write right here.
You know, I'm trying to leave.
Go ahead.
That's your space. That's my space.
No, she gonna write right there.
Okay. I don't believe it.
Okay. Now these stairs are brand new. They just put them in. Right ahead, right here. This restroom is connected to the bedroom. This is nice. Very modern.
Let's go ahead and fast forward this part. Danessa actually did a good job at showing this house. I almost actually forgot that she wasn't a real realtor for a second.
I'm going to take you guys
She played her part, didn't she?
to see the master bedroom.
But she was able to execute, and Perry didn't suspect a thing. All she had to do now was exit and make her way out, leaving them in the house alone.
Okay, so you guys need some time to make a decision or just to talk for a moment?
I feel like, yeah, give us a few.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go right down the street to my other client and I'm gonna be back. But I'm gonna let y'all leave it to you. Just let me know if y'all gonna move in or not, okay?
Okay. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Oh, be sure to, when you guys do leave, to lock the door when you guys come out. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Would they do that? Would a realtor do that? I would have that would have been a red flag for me. Why would a realtor leave people in the house and tell them to lock the door when they're leaving? Do realtors do that? That would have been a red flag for me if I was the guy that they was doing a loyalty test on.
We need you right now.
We needed to get Sierra alone with Perry, so we arranged a call giving M3 an excuse to leave, giving Sierra the perfect opportunity to make her move.
Decorate the house or what?
Oh, definitely. I'm here every day, all day.
4 hour vibe.
For me, once I get it's it for me. Once I get the keys in my hand, I feel like, boom. But just with all the new beginnings we got going on, this, I know for a fact that this is the move. I know that this is new beginnings because.
Answer it right now. Answer it.
Hello. Hey.
She about to miss the phone call. How do you like how they made the kids' room up there? Like, it looked like a little basement area.
The kids' room is cool.
That's cool.
You know, put a little smile for my liking, but you know, we're gonna.
That's all they need, though, you know? And the room and the restroom, that's a vibe.
Master, what you think about it?
That's a vibe.
For real?
Like, no, for real. That is a vibe.
1 to 5.
5.
You know, we'll put a pin in that and we'll see. But I do know she definitely loves this. So.
Yeah, she do. She love it, and it's nice. Like, everything about it is just fits her. And I think this area is gonna be her space where she.
Whoa.
I think we should just leave her alone when she over here,
Yeah, for sure.
because she gonna be over there minding her business and.
Nigga,
You know,
For sure.
how did the call go?
why you sitting so close to her? Oh, nah, bro. Come on
I'm
now.
talking about the place and how, you know,
Bro.
how we hope
She
you
all right
like
with
it
that?
and you gonna get it and this is it for you.
I love it. It's a lot of new beginnings, like I said, but I gotta get the fuck out of here because guess what?
What's up?
Calling me a car right now to pull up at the studio right fucking now.
Man, stop it.
Superstar? That's a superstar? So you about to leave right now?
Yes, I'm gonna take one last final walk through of
Okay.
my home and the car.
Oh, she said my
Maybe
home.
that's what I need to do. I need to. What?
Lock up, like the lady said.
Okay.
That's your lady. Call. Shit. What's her name, Lord?
Okay. I'll lock it up for y'all.
Okay. Give her a phone call. I like her too. That last little thing over here, y'all.
But you said your home, right? Your home. Your home. Your home.
That's my baby. It's my house.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Okay, well, let me give me hugs.
Stay around and.
I love it. I gotta hurry up. I know they're gonna literally be here any minute.
We'll figure some small things out.
Oh. I'm gonna start looking at
You know,
details
it's
and stuff,
all
designs and
all
colors
types
and
of
all that
jealousy in
for
the back of
you.
that woman's head.
Girl.
We got this. We're gonna take care of it. What's up?
Don't worry, I got some lip gloss on you.
I'll take that.
Alright, y'all.
Bye, girl. Be safe.
Okay. Look like they like 2 minutes away.
Okay. Okay.
Bro, it's a trap. It's a trap, my boy. It's a trap, my boy. Get out of there. You should have walked her outside and stayed outside until the ride came, bro.
But no, I don't know. I think it's gonna be cool. How's life been? Are you ready for this big step? Big.
You know, yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. It is what it is.
Do you remember like?
Great spot.
Do you remember when we first met?
Here
before
she
you and I
go.
got together?
Here she go.
Do you
This
think that would have been?
BS.
You think this would have been us or something? Like.
Oh no.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think about that, you know.
Oh really?
Thank goodness. Good job, bro.
Oh.
Good job.
I
Good
thought you
job.
was still the same person I knew back then.
Yeah, nah, things have changed a little bit.
That's
Yeah,
good.
there we go. Come on, bro. Come on. Yeah,
I'm good.
come on, my boy.
Yeah. A little bit, you know.
Talk to me.
I don't know. I just feel like.
Don't let her play with you, bro. Don't let her play with you.
You don't think so?
I'm trying to see why you thinking like that.
Because before y'all got together, you know, don't be trying to act like you just don't know how stuff was before y'all got together.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, like why?
What you own? Exactly.
Because I'm just trying to, I don't know.
She misses you.
Because you came in here looking like you looking, and I don't understand. I thought
Uh-oh.
you knew. You knew
Uh-oh.
you was gonna see me today.
Uh-oh.
So why you?
It sounds like it sounds like the loyalty test is kind of flipped here. This ain't a loyalty test on him no more. It's a loyalty test on her. It sounds like she you know what I'm saying? It sounds like she's trying to, you know what I'm saying, make her move on, you know what I'm saying? That's really what's going on here. I feel like it because the way she talking, and bro is just rejecting. Like, you know, he trying to figure out what's going on. Unfortunately, right now, like he don't even know. She's really trying to like get him for real. Like, this ain't even for fake. This is for real. Like she miss him.
handsome and stuff. I'm just trying. I just think you still want to talk to me.
It's
Are you serious right now?
No, for real.
What implies that? What gave you that
exactly.
idea? What gave you
Come
that
on.
message? What
Come
gave you
on.
that
Yeah.
message?
Yeah.
Any of that?
Get on her
You
ass.
came in here looking all handsome when you know you was just coming to see a house. You knew you was coming to see me, or did you not know you was coming to see me?
Why is it, bro? Why is it always when you ain't when you ain't looking for nobody, when you looking for somebody, you can't find them, right? When you looking for somebody for real, you can't find them. But it's as soon as you get into a relationship, that's when people want to start coming around and start trying to cause division and throw you off. Like shit like this is ridiculous, bro. Like that woman ought to be ashamed of herself, bro.
I guess.
My fiance, our house with my fiance.
Okay.
I knew you would be here, but you know.
Yeah, but I just feel like, you know, it could have been like how it was before.
No, it couldn't have.
When we used to like flirt and just be flirtatious
No, it
towards
couldn't
each
have.
other. Come sit down.
Sit down for what?
Just let's talk.
Yeah, bro, don't sit down, bro.
Sit down.
Sit
let's talk,
somewhere
let's
else,
talk about
bro.
it. So you don't think beforehand, before y'all got together, that we was a vibe?
Oh, you noticed something? Hold on. The way he's sitting next to her now is not how he was sitting next to her before. He was sitting closer to her when his fiance was there. Now he's sitting a little bit further away, cause I think he knows. I think he knows something's up.
Like the math not even adding up.
So you do not
Exactly.
see yourself.
Best friend.
You
Exactly.
Don't look at me. You still look at me. I still feel like you look at me like that a little bit. Like today you was looking at me.
No,
That's
sweetheart,
what I'm trying to tell you,
no.
like
It's
you
not like
still-
that no more.
We get together, and then that's that.
And what happened with that?
Exactly.
She gonna have to
happened
feel.
with the kids?
That's just gonna be on her.
Wow.
We can still take care of kids though.
I don't think that time is right.
This is a real scenario. I hope y'all
Right, So you
know.
don't think the time is right. So you
I don't think
think,
the time is right.
but you think down the line we could be something. Cause you said you don't think the time is right now.
I'm not sure if it's
She trying to twist his words and shit. Man,
right. This is a
get up out of here, bruh.
scandalous. It's really dirty. It's really lowball. And I'm shocked that you even
Because you still look at me.
RNS, bro. RNS.
tell me how I look.
Keep
at
it
you.
real, bro. Keep it real.
Like your eyes be like gleaming and stuff at me, and you make this. little
Get
smirky
over
face.
yourself, bruh.
I'm telling you. It's
Nah, she tripping.
Okay,
not it.
whatever. I don't feel like that. I guess.
It's about the extras, but
You know, and we both know. At the end of the day, you want me still.
Nah,
and that's
that ain't
just
it. That ain't it.
I mean, hey, we'll leave that on the table. If that's what you want to go with, that's what we're gonna go with.
You're
What a
still
guy.
telling me that you
Good
still
job, bro.
want me.
Good job. Good
You're saying
job.
Not right now.
Good job.
I said
She trying to twist it.
But you not,
Good job.
If you want to be with me, and the time is not
You're
right
done.
now, so that means
You're
why you
done.
be with me.
Nah,
She exposing herself for real.
understand why.
That's the
I
crazy part.
wouldn't do anything else.
Oh.
Help me understand that. Help me see the logic.
Like, what do you do? Like, for real?
First
Do you
off,
see yourself
Do
for
I
real?
even give off an impression that I would cheat on my fiance?
Right?
For sure.
For sure.
All right, maybe I need to work on some things.
Maybe
Facts.
Tell me what.
Because I feel like you still are.
The eyes gleaming.
Yep, that's what it is.
I'll work on.
And you
the
still
eyes.
make a little smirk
I
at
will
me
shade
too.
around you if that makes you feel.
Facts. Like,
If that'll help you
you
out.
just say that you want me.
I really think it could just be me, you, the kids, no three, or three could just be here. You know how I'm here. She could just take my place. You know what I mean?
sounds
But I'm gonna
stupid.
show you a picture of how we used to be, and you're gonna be like, okay, I do want to go back to that.
Good on that.
Like you.
What a guy, man. What a guy. What a guy, bro.
I'm good on that.
Black men don't cheat, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
Shit right now.
Let's go. Let's go.
Feel that shit.
Yeah, man.
You would not.
Yeah.
Not be
Yeah.
moving that way.
Yeah.
You know that shit. I know
Yeah.
that shit. Chill. I'm finna get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
That shit can't happen.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lame ass.
All right.
With your lame ass.
He leaving. So what you want to? Let's just go in real quick.
Goodness. Boy, you know what? I just realized something. Boy, his fiance, she about to feel hella stupid right now because she listening to her best friend. She about to feel hella stupid right now. Nigga gonna be, bro gonna be mad when she says a loyalty test. Oh man. Oh man, bruh.
Y'all, he stormed out. He was pissed the fuck off. Like, that
I would've
was
been
like-
mad
I
too.
didn't see him that mad.
Why you trying to push up on
He
me?
left so fast. We
Why you trying to push up on me though?
That's why I didn't really want to do it.
Because Perry left so quickly and M3 was indecisive about whether or not she wanted to tell him he was on a test or not, we were
Shouldn't
not
have-
able to tell him he was on a test before he actually left. which is
Yeah.
the
Oh, he
worst
gone.
that ever happened.
Oh
You
boy.
weren't even able to tell him.
Oh boy.
I'm supposed to tell him.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Did you want to tell him that he was on the test or what?
I can't do this. I mean, this is a lot for me to handle because I was trying to tell you that it wasn't even that type of thing. Then I had
See?
X amount of
Now
time
she looks
where
stupid.
I'm believing whatever she
Exactly.
It was just a lot for me in the last few hours.
Now
And
she
seeing
looks
that shit,
stupid. Cause she listening to you.
So what
He
you
was
want to do?
pissed off.
You want to
Goofy.
Tell him it was a test, or you just gonna wait? What you gonna do?
I wouldn't even tell him.
Not want to tell him?
Don't tell him.
Fuck, I look like.
Exactly.
Well, he was loyal. Now I'm looking at you like.
You
what
goofy.
was- Like all for what was this for?
You goofy.
So, are we going to tell him? I don't think we should tell him.
Are we gonna
just
tell
leave it at
him?
that.
You tell him.
Smart enough about this process.
Yeah, I got everything. into
You
it
tell
because
him.
I'm going to post it. I can post it, right?
Shit, she done signed something my goddamn life away.
I'm saying, like, do you mind
See?
posting it?
With friends like her, with friends like her, who needs friends? I would say drop her as a friend because she making you look crazy out here.
Do what you do, because at the
So
end of the
when
day,
he posting it, he's probably gonna see it.
See it, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
but it's going to also show that I said from the beginning, I wasn't on this shit.
well, however you want to tell him, if you need my help telling him, or y'all want to get together and tell him, I think he will rather much hear it from you before he actually sees it. But that's just my
Is the
opinion.
video gonna end before he
We
before they?
as fuck. You see what we got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of gonna, he's really gonna fuck him up because y'all wasn't really looking for a house.
I'm fucked up.
Yeah,
You really are.
so-
You did too much. You did too
I
much,
think
and now
once
that
we
shit got
tell
me
him-
thinking.
You gotta drop her. You
did
gotta
too
drop
much.
her.
Shit, ask her how she feel. The shit blew up in your face. How you feel?
Yeah, at least
Exactly.
You ain't gonna be married and getting a big ass house with a nigga who gonna be cheating on you.
I look at it, I ain't gonna lie, she was trying to help you out. We was best friends.
Not this nigga trying to agree with her. No. Nah. I know you. I know he trying to make the video look. You know what I'm saying. He got a job to do, but like, nah, hell, there ain't no way. The old girl said from the beginning, I don't think he's gonna cheat on him. I don't think he's gonna do none of that, and she was right. So now, everything's all messed up now.
Like Jay said, y'all can tell them together. You know what I'm saying? He probably understand. She your friend.
I'm just saying this. Like, I ain't gonna.
You ain't said shit the whole time. You tell me.
Nah, on the serious.
He said you ain't said it.
Before I put this out, I think he should know. So whenever you figure that out, you should.
It's nothing but serious. This is my family. I mean, we got kids together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they gonna get married?
Well, we know he's solid.
Your lady waiting on you to call. When I feel like this whole process has just been kind of tarnished, especially with the stuff that took place in here. It's weird for me.
But he passed, and
He passed the test.
that's what we wanted out of this test. But it's nice meeting you.
So thank you so much.
Goofy. Goofy.
You got any questions for me or concerns?
Goofy, bro.
We
Goofy.
don't know. I mean,
Exactly.
okay. I'm sure. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And yeah, it's a lot. Damn.
We just know he loyal and he passed the test.
Damn. Is this how y'all shit normally go?
No.
Exactly. It don't never go nothing like that. usually whoever it is that's cheating is gonna get caught in the act, and yeah.
This ain't how our shit normally go, goddamn.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Thank y'all again.
Thank y'all.
I mean, that's a lot of support.
What's up?
For nothing.
If you guys enjoyed this video,
She
make sure
said,
you give it a
"For
thumbs up.
nothing."
Maybe Sierra and Perry was talking earlier on in their situationship, but according to this test, it turns out that is a thing of the past. Congratulations to Perry. He don't even know it yet, but he's the winner.
Shout
of
out to
$3,000.
Perry, man.
Due to him storming out, I will not be able to show that in this video. So for the next
Hey, hopefully Perry wasn't too mad, you know. I mean, they got kids together. I mean, but why would you allow? It's always the female friend of the female who has a relationship that's always trying to be a detective all of a sudden and stuff. Like, if God gave one woman intuition, what makes your intuition different from mine? You know, I'm around him all the time. You're not around him all the time. So it's like, what do you know that I don't know? Like, you think you know my man better than I know my man. You think, like, men will never do that, bro. Men don't do that. Men don't do that if they, you know, if like, men we don't do that. We do not be doing that stuff, bro. I think I got time for like one more, bro. Got time for one more reaction, and then I'm gonna just get out of here. One more reaction. Let me see here. See. Let me see. I kind of don't want to talk about. I had a plan to react to the video on what's the name, passing, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that one. See here. I think I can do the Andrew Tate interview. Let's go ahead and react to it.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. Imagine being a sixth grade boy in the United States right now. What are you hearing at school? What are they telling you on the internet? Well, they're telling you to stop being yourself. Sit still. Stop joking. Suppress your aggression. Share your feelings.
Go past those BS. Just go to the damn interview, man. I don't know what all that junk is. All that rackets. If you don't know already.
That's a really good question. I'm charged with being the head of an organized criminal group, which is in charge of recruiting girls to make TikTok videos to steal the money from the TikTok views.
Recruiting girls to make TikTok videos and stealing the money. So it's really a financial crime?
It looks that way, and it's very interesting because the girls who they've identified to add to the file are saying that we're not victims of anything, and this isn't true. But the state believes it's true, and the state thinks
Somebody's trying to frame Andrew
as
Tate.
a 35-year-old man, woke up. I was already extremely financially successful. I was already a father. I was already very well known. I had no financial motivation. I have no criminal record. It's not my personality profile, but I woke up at the age of 35 and decided to make girls do TikTok.
You know what's crazy? I've never fully understood like his rise to fame or his rise to internet fame or whatever you want to call it. I really, like, seriously do not understand how this man came to be this famous person all of a sudden. I don't get it. I don't know where it even started at. I wish I could like find like a story of this man, how he like actually came up, because I truly don't understand it. Never have I seen like a person just out of nowhere soar into internet. Like, well, I have, but like not like this. Soar into like internet stardom and just be known for like just going on podcasts and doing his own podcast and just talking the way he wants to talk and having these like ideals. I mean, don't get me wrong, his ideals are his ideology has been like twisted a lot, in my opinion, for the most part. I think for the most part it's like just being a obedient. I feel like his message is in the realm of like obedient, being a obedient, disciplined, strong mentally male, as far as I could like go off of like what he really talks of, what he really is, like what his core message is, and all of the things that he speaks about, as far as like, you know, him, you know, he used to be in the manosphere and, you know, changing his message up a little bit and everything like that. You know, he used to be in the red pill too. So it's just like, you can't really put like a pinpoint on it nowadays, as far as I could tell.
To enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from TikTok views.
So in the United States, I think the belief is that you were charged with human trafficking.
Yeah, that's human trafficking, because what you do is you force a girl to work against her will for financial gain. That's human trafficking. And their justification for this is that girls do TikTok. Some girls I know who they found who say they're not victims have TikTok accounts.
How do you force someone to do TikTok videos?
I guess the prosecutor is going to have to explain that, isn't he? It's a very interesting scenario I'm in, and I'm inside of Romania, so I have to show a degree of respect to the Romanian judicial system, and I have to show a degree of respect to the situation I'm in. But the overall charge is that there's an organized criminal group. There's a group of us. I'm the head of it. My brother is below me, and we use the lover boy method to convince women to do TikTok videos to make money so that we can steal the TikTok money.
So there's no, just to be clear, you are not accused of pandering, of pimping, of
No.
forcing women to have sex with anybody.
No, not forcing them to have sex, not restraining their movement, not stopping them from living a full life, but the fact that we are somehow convincing them to have TikTok. Very interesting. I don't think...
But there's no actual... I'm asking you this because I do think it's a widespread belief that you were accused of pimping.
Yeah, no, that's nothing to do with any of this case. Absolutely nothing. And it's kind of scary because the crime in itself of human trafficking is a unique one because they can ignore the statement of the victim. So the girls have come forward and said, this is insane. You've just picked us because we're near Andrew and we're his friends. But the whole idea of the crime is they can say that she's brainwashed, right? She's under duress. So you can ignore her statement. State says she's a victim regardless of the fact that she says she's not a victim. So it's very interesting because the difference between sex and rape is consent, right?
Right.
But they remove all of that. They're like, nope, you're a victim. No matter what you say, we're deciding you're a victim. And they've chosen them. And of course, these girls do nothing pornographic. They've never had sex with anyone, nothing to do with that. So they've picked TikTok. So it's scary. Imagine you're a full-grown man anywhere in the world today. They can find two girls who have TikTok on their phone, which is every single female on the planet, and they can accuse you of forcing them to take the TikTok money. And even if the girls say they didn't do that, this isn't true, then you're still a human trafficker.
But force, what does that consist of? Forcing someone to do something, are they accusing you of using violence or?
No, they're accusing me, and this is the thing, they're accusing me of using the lover boy method, coercing them by being nice.
So, and by the way, these charges presumably are
That's
public,
crazy.
so
They're public, and this is extremely serious, but if you actually analyze the overall case against me, they're saying that Andrew and his brother, by being nice men, convinced girls to have TikTok accounts and then take the money. And it's very interesting.
I mean,
side of the
you know,
case
I believe there's like a video of like him explaining how he amassed so much money. I don't know if that video is still on you, because you know he's like practically blocked from YouTube as far as I can remember. There's like there is a video somewhere. I can't remember what platform it was on YouTube before they took down most of, if not all of Andrew Tate's videos. But there was something along the lines of he ran like a website, like a webcam website or something like that. I don't know if that's actually true or not. I would have to actually look into that. But I think that is like for the most part how he came to having so much money, because he ran like a webcam website or something like that. I don't know if it's true. I'm trying to remember if that was actually what he said. If that was one of the things that he actually said that he had done to amass so much money. And then from there, he went and he started the Hustlers University. He was doing that for a while, and then he started, of course, doing his podcast, and, pushing a certain narrative. And then he started Hustlers University, and Hustlers University is the thing that amassed him so much more money, because he had a bunch of people signing up and people learning stuff, so on and so forth. So
there's not a single financial transaction to us for money.
what are the penalties?
They're extremely severe, 5 to 10 years in jail. And I've already served, coming up now, 7 months in a form of jail. They can only
So
hold
you are essentially incarcerated right now.
Absolutely, I'm on house arrest, and that counts as jail. You can only be held 6 months without charge. I was initially picked up, thrown in a cell without charge, and I think the intention of the entire investigation at that point was to find the crime, because they had very, very weak evidence. They contacted 2,000 people who know me or knew me. They tried very hard to convince some female somewhere to come forward and say something bad about me. The media machine, which works hands in hands with the justice machine, as you know very well, did exactly that. In fact, they offered bribes effectively. They'd call up ex-girlfriends and say, if you have anything bad to say about Andrew, we can pay you $50,000 for the story.
wow.
And they tried very hard. They didn't find any evidence of anything. They then released me on house arrest, and then 2 days before the legal limit in which they had to drop everything, they charged me with whatever they had from the beginning, which is very little. And now we have to wait for the Romanian judicial system to analyze the file and, God willing, throw it away.
How long did you spend in jail?
I was in jail for 92 days in a Romanian jail cell.
What was that like?
It was certainly interesting experience. I won't lie and say it was easy. It was certainly very difficult. The uncertainty of it. It's a very uncertain situation to be picked up on just before New Year's Eve and thrown in a cell without charge. And I'm asking different prison guards and different prisoners, how long am I going to be here? One prisoner was like, I've been here 2 years. I was like, have you been charged? He goes, yeah, but I haven't gone to court yet. Like, everyone's been there for years. I thought I was going to be there for years. And it certainly takes a mental toll on you. And I think jail's a different experience when you know you're innocent. There was a guy in there for murder. He's like, yeah, I murdered someone, I'm in jail. You can your soul and your mind can accept the punishment for a crime. But when you've actually done nothing wrong, I think jail is a lot harder.
Did you know why you were there?
Not initially. So
You
for
know,
about
how
the
many-
first 2 weeks,
Andrew,
I never actually got told.
Does Andrew know that there are like many people within certain justice systems that have been thrown into jail wrongfully with no evidence? Even down here in the South, there's a lot of people who are wrongfully in jail. Some wrong place, wrong time, didn't do anything, but they place you at the scene and you fit a description and now you're in jail. You know, that's a regular benefactor over here with our judicial system here in America.
In English, what I was accused of, because I was arrested on December 29th. There's New Year's.
What were the circumstances of that?
Yeah, December 29th, 5 a.m., the armed guards ran in this house. They spent all day searching the entire house. They were very interested in electronics, as most federal agencies are. And then they took me that evening and said, we're going to go and put you in jail for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, you see a judge, and the judge will decide if you stay in jail. And the judge decided I should stay in jail.
What did you do? I mean, who'd you call?
I had a lawyer, and my lawyer came and he said, we need to analyze the case file. We need to see what they have against you. You're being accused of human trafficking. I was like, human trafficking? That's insane. Who? When? What? I went to jail, and then I was given all this paper in Romanian. I don't speak Romanian, although I live here. And then I was waiting for the translation. So I think it's about 2 weeks before I finally got the papers in English to understand why I was in a jail cell. And then I really understood how insane the accusations were.
What is human trafficking?
Yeah, so the overall, my understanding of it, they're saying that human trafficking is when you convince a woman to do something she doesn't want to do for financial gain. And there's different methods you can do.
That would be pimping it, right?
And you can also do that through
How is that
emotional coercion.
I think most people,
That's pimping.
speaking from the American perspective, most people believe that human trafficking is effectively slavery, selling human beings.
That's what I believe
Pimping,
as well.
slavery,
Absolutely. And this is
whatever
something
you wanna
that's so
call it.
interesting. When you finally end up the enemy of the matrix, and they use the legal system as a weapon to punish you for having an opinion, you realize how subjective the law is, right? Because it can be a weapon. When you have something subjective, you can just pick and choose. So if they sit and say, human trafficking is a woman doing something for financial gain against her will via emotional coercion. Well, he knows these two girls, they have TikTok accounts.
Emotional coercion?
Convincing her. That's what I'm accused of, because they have no proof of me doing anything wrong. So they said, he's convinced these girls to do TikTok for money.
Is there evidence that he did anything? That he committed such acts? I know it's a different country, so the way they go about doing their business as far as like bringing somebody subject to, trial and building a case and everything like that. Like, is there any evidence? That's the real question. Like, what is the evidence in case? Has there been any evidence? Because I've never actually paid attention to anything that has to do with him going to jail and all of that stuff. Because you don't know what's real and you don't know what's there to push a narrative. So I don't pay attention to none of it.
Girls have said this is not true, and the state is denying their statement, saying, no, you're brainwashed, it is true. And I went to jail.
So how is the state, so the state is trying to coerce the women, so how is the state not committing human trafficking by the same definition?
Well, absolutely, it's very interesting. It's very interesting that you can sit someone down and tell them they're a victim when they say they're not a victim.
you're a victim of being coerced, and we're going to try to coerce you into conceding you were coerced.
Exactly. It's a very interesting scenario. And
Okay.
yeah, and it's a very interesting scenario. And it's up until this point, no judge has looked at the evidence of the case. So up until this point, I've been to court a bunch of times.
Okay.
The only reason I was in court was to discuss my preventative detention. So under Romanian law, if you being free can impede the investigation, you should stay in jail. So the judge agreed that, yeah, maybe if he's free, he can damage this investigation because they're trying very hard to get something on this guy. So I've done a bunch of jail time. And now it just begins. The judge is going to look at the case. And like I said, God willing, I still have enough faith in the Romanian judicial system that she's going to look at this and go, this is not a crime.
You're aware of the media coverage of this, however. So you're in jail for 90 days or more, and the rest of the world is talking about you. Do you know what they're saying?
They're saying very heinous things, and I would hate to come across as a conspiracy theorist, Tucker, but I kind of have a feeling that this might be something to do with my influence and an attempt to slander my name. Perhaps I'm crazy. But the fact that they chose such a heinous crime, and they reported it so heavily, and they won't shut up and keep repeating basically a slander attack day after day after day. Also considering the fact that other people who genuinely commit heinous crimes have far more favorable press coverage. But I don't want you to think I'm a conspiracy theorist. Please, Tucker, I would hate for you to come here and call me crazy. Yeah. But something very strange about it, and I think
when Jeffrey Epstein's friends call you immoral?
Yeah. The goal of it is certainly to slander my name, and I like to see it as a litmus test. I like to see it as an intelligence test. Anybody who wakes up and looks at me and goes, he's a human trafficker because of TikTok, they're fully gone.
So, but from the West, just to defend the average news consumer in the West.
Sure.
Andrew Tate, kind of an outlaw, lives in some palace in Romania, wherever that is. And Romania sounds like the kind of place where human trafficking is like the main industry.
A lot of it happens here. That's what's so crazy about it, right? What's so crazy is if they really want to find a human trafficker, I think they could probably do it quite easily. But they managed to get me.
That's certainly the perception. But it's one of those charges that kind of sells itself.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't matter if you're found guilty or not, right? You're a human trafficker forever. And but I do think that public consciousness is changing. I think with things like there's been some very large court cases recently involving some very famous people in which women were caught lying, trying to slander men's names for rape and these kinds of things. And I don't think people believe it anymore. But that scares me to a degree because I think that the typical weapon, the standardized playbook, is now failing, and I don't know what the new playbook's going to be. It's almost like better the devil you know. That you're too famous, you're too successful, we don't like you. Call him a rapist or a human trafficker, put him all over the news, slander his name, try and wreck his life. Now that nobody believes it, what's the next move? What are they going to try next?
Wouldn't it just have been easier to commit like a massive financial crime and defraud people of billions? Come up with like a fake cryptocurrency, call it like, I don't know, FTX, or just give a name to it.
Yeah, something
and then,
random.
You know, steal
You're
billions.
talking about
Get your
crypto
parents involved and
fraud.
buy a bunch of real estate in the Bahamas, and then like you'd be sort of a hero, right?
Oh, absolutely, and I would have certainly made a lot
He's
more
talking
money
about
than TikTok.
somebody. No. Tucker Carlson is talking about somebody. He's being messy.
It's a very
He's talking about somebody right now. He is talking about somebody right now. I bet you anything. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Yeah, he being mad. He's definitely talking about somebody.
interesting scenario, but if I was accused of a financial crime, my name would not be slandered. So
No, of course not. You have the presumption of innocence. So just back to the jail thing. So you're in with your brother.
at the beginning I was not, but towards the end I was, yeah.
What did you do all day?
It's a good question. I looked at the wall, stared at the wall, smoked cigarettes, lots of push-ups, read the Quran.
You smoked cigarettes, did push-ups, and read the Quran.
Basically, yes. And certainly had some introspective moments. Tried my best to get out, tried my best to via my small phone calls, understand what's happening in the outside world. Tried to make sure that the people I love and care about are taken care of, because I'm the man of my family, and I'm also the man of quite a large, I wouldn't say empire, but life. And there's a whole lot of people who rely on me. You know, you have staff and families, you have children and
I know the
families.
feeling, yeah.
So when you're plucked from that, it's kind of strange. You're in jail and you're concerned for yourself, but your primary concerns are also all your duties as a man. I have duties as a man. I don't want children to starve.
You've got a whole tribe.
I've got people to pay. So it was very, very frustrating, constantly trying to make sure everybody else was okay and feeling helpless. That's what hurt me the most. I was trying to make sure everybody I love and care about was fine, and I wasn't as powerful as I should have been, and that was very upsetting, and especially they were going to keep me there for years. I was having serious concerns about how I can feed the people I love.
Did you ever come to the edge at all?
No. I certainly had some days I was less happy than others, but I made sure that my mindset was built in a way that I could always be doing something constructive. And also, I think you get what you give in life. And if I ever felt particularly sad on a day, I would try very hard to make other people happy, because if I made other people smile, I'd feel better. So even the dinner ladies or the prison guards, I'd try very hard just to make people smile. I know it sounds silly. Some of the prison
No, it
guards,
doesn't.
some of the prison guards were more open than others, but there was a couple prison guards who were ice cold, who didn't want to say a word to me. Like, hey, bro, your hair looks amazing, and you just stare at me like he wants. Shut up. But I just try my best to cheer people up, to cheer myself up, and as a man, all you can do is just find the resolve to continue doing the best you can in this current circumstance. So,
What were the other prisoners like?
I don't want to insult Romania in any way, and I love this country, and I chose to live here. But if I had to describe it for the people, for an American audience to understand, I don't think Romania and a lot of these countries have the same kind of mental health setup or the mental health support that a lot of Western nations have. So you end up in jail. So I think there's a lot of mental health problems inside the jail. So it was very similar. It wasn't just a jail. There was also a lot of mental health problems in there, which adds a new complexity and a new dimension to the suffering, because there's just random screaming and there's suicide, and it's certainly not a very nice place to be.
Oh, so it's horrifying.
Yeah, I don't want to go back.
You hear the phrase Romanian prison, and it sounds tough, so it was what you would imagine.
It is, and when this process is over, there's a lot more I will say, but I will say the staff were very nice to me, and I want to make this clear. I want to make it very clear that all the staff in the jail were very professional and very nice to me. I would almost say that they believed I was innocent, and they understood that I didn't belong there. There was a semi-apologetic vibe
okay.
to the way I was treated by the guards, if that makes sense. Yes. They understood very well. I don't think anybody, like I said, with a functioning brain believes that me at the age of 35 decided to steal TikTok money and ruin my entire life without financial motivation to girls who say they're not victims of anything. I don't think anybody with a brain.
Well, the fact that you're not accused of a sex crime or violence, which I think most people don't really understand.
Yep.
And they can look it up.
Yep.
I mean, but you're not actually accused of rape, selling anyone, pimping.
Correct.
Okay. That right there raises a lot of questions.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing that's so interesting, because I'm accused of using a method of human trafficking called the lover boy method. So how that would traditionally work is a man would meet a girl, become her boyfriend, take her to another country, turn her into a prostitute, say I love you, like pimping.
Of course.
But they're saying, because all my conversations with these girls are very nice, they're saying that I use the lover boy method to convince them to do TikTok. And once again, I never made a penny from TikTok, and I have no interest in girls' TikTok accounts, and I've never made any money from TikTok in my life.
So that raises the question. So that right there, I think, I mean, we can let people assess. I'm not, an expert on the Romanian legal code, but that's kind of not the impression that most people have.
Oh, and that's the media who have made that the media have tried very hard to do that. And if I had to estimate, I think that the overall intention was just to throw me in a cell, use the media machine to drum up something real. I think that's what the goal was.
So, but what's the, and I believe that, it seems, obviously.
Yeah.
One thing, I've never been to Romania before, and one thing I'm struck by is the American presence here.
Oh, it's massive.
Fully understand that. So there are 3 NATO bases here now. They're bustling.
They're using the method that is usually used in the Western world, that gets somebody who has status, who is a famous person or something like that. Obviously, somebody with mostly men who are famous. They find their way to obviously cancel them by. It's like an on-off switch of turning on and raising eyebrows into the world of canceling somebody. There are many different people in America who are famous, who have been canceled for something. Some have been able to withstand and duck under fire over cancellation. It's so weird because it's easy for somebody to get canceled. All it takes is one person on Twitter going back and digging up something that, I mean, anything is possible, possibly can be used to cancel somebody, which is, I hate that. I hate that social media has allowed us to have that much power over a celebrity. But I mean, damaging the credibility of somebody, like, let's just say it's like somebody who's a positive person. They give back to their community. They're just all around positive, and their message is to preach a sort of change in the world overall. And some people don't like that. Some people don't like it when you're positive. Actually, people hate positivity on social media. It's the recklessness and debauchery that gets the most clicks, loves, and likes. versus somebody saying like, "Hey, I want to see men. I want to see men uplifted. I want to see men, men's mental health be taken serious. I want to see men being abused by women taken seriously. Most of the time, conversations like that get laughed out of the room, laughed off of social media. But that is why we have the spearheads who represent a certain way of pushing the narrative of men's happiness,
Because of the war in Ukraine. Yeah. One's on the Black Sea, right below Crimea. So this is strategically important, this country, to NATO.
Absolutely.
And so this is a lot less far away than I realized. It's much more American influence.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that played a role?
Yeah, well, I think, and I don't want to get this incorrect, I think it's the second or third biggest U.S. embassy in the world. The U.S. embassy here looks like a prison. It's huge. They've got a huge embassy here, and even during Ceausescu, during the communism days, Romania was an ally of the West, even during communism.
Yes.
So, yes.
Ceausescu came to New York.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So Romania and America have been very good friends for a very long time. I have to be careful what I say, but it's certainly very interesting what's happened to me. The American embassy were not particularly helpful, let's put it that way. They weren't very interested in me being locked up without charge. They didn't seem very interested in getting me out.
But you're an American citizen.
Absolutely. And
so you're an American passport holder.
correct.
So I think the average American believes, perhaps falsely, that if you are accused of a crime in a foreign country, particularly a less developed country,
You
like
did it.
Romania, you go to the U.S. Embassy and someone takes an interest in your case just to make sure that your treatment falls within, accepted standards of justice.
Yeah, they came to see me, but when I was asking them what they can actually do about all of this, they weren't particularly helpful. I don't want to peddle conspiracy theories, and I've heard a lot of information, etc. But I wouldn't say they sanctioned it. I don't know if they had to sanction it, but they weren't particularly interested in getting me out. But at least they came to see me more than once. I mean, they kind of pretended to care. The UK embassy didn't even pretend to care. The UK embassy was, I really think they enjoyed it. They didn't.
And you're a British subject as well?
Correct. And this is the kind of thing, and I want to say this here, that's kind of frustrating for me because Romania is my home now for 7 years, but I'm half British, half American originally. And when something like this happens to you, you have this longing for home. You kind of want to go home. When you end up in a jail in a country where, even though you've lived for a long time, you don't speak the language, you don't understand the legal system, going to court in a foreign language is far more intimidating than in your own language.
Even imagine.
You don't have a clue what's being said. You don't understand how anything works. And then you kind of have this longing for home, but I feel like my home countries hate me, and they hate me because of my message, which I believe to be a positive message. So you kind of have this strange feeling of homelessness, because it's like, well, if I go to the UK, I believe they're going to attack me the same. If I go to America, I believe they're going to attack me the same. So where do you go? It's kind of scary.
Where do you go?
Good question. We're going to have to see it.
How did you wind up here?
I moved to Romania. I came to visit a long time ago. Before anybody ever visited Romania, I came to visit, and I genuinely fell in love with the place. It truly is a fantastic country. I love nature, as amazing nature. It's a very safe place.
It's amazing that he's still bigging up the country, even though like he's in the predicament he's in. Even though the country that he lives in, that he's bigging up, is putting him in this predicament that he's in right now. He's still giving the country love.
Conservative traditionally. It's almost like America was 20, 30 years ago. It's gorgeous. They have a bunch of nice restaurants and plenty of things to do, and I've never had a problem here in any way. Never had any issue with the law or with the other side, criminals, nothing, until this came out of nowhere. So it's been very strange.
So what is it about your message, do you think, that infuriates certain people?
Well, my message is traditional masculinity. My message is to stand up and say what you mean and mean what you say. And even going to the gym nowadays is an act of defiance, because when you have a man who's built with any degree of principle, you say no to things. And I think if I have to analyze my message and why I'm so disliked by the people who dislike me, it's not the things I'm saying. It's the fact that if you adhere to my principles and you adhere to the things I say, you end up being the kind of person who will resist certain ideas. You say no. What kind of man never says no? Name a man who never says no. Men say no, right? Men wake up and say, no, I don't think that should be done this way. No, my children will not be taught that.
It's the father's primary job.
Absolutely. So when you say to men, listen, you're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to have standards. You're allowed to have boundaries and barriers. You're allowed to get up and become important and work hard and try hard and become the kind of man who can't be controlled. Then you're seen as an enemy. And especially with the massive influence I've gained, I think they look at me and go, he's helping men resist the slave programming. We don't need him around. We need to empty their brains so we can inject the slave programming and convince men to be eunuchs, because once you're eunuched, then you're not a threat.
I think I'd buy that, because your message, I'm not the world's expert on your message, but I've seen a lot of it, and it's not explicitly political, actually.
No, it's not political at all.
Has nothing to
Their
do with
original attack, or this
politics.
attack, is they weaponize virtue, which is what they usually do. There's no genuine virtue inside of these people. They weaponize virtue. They find a virtue.
He's not. It has nothing to do with politics and everything to do with just programming. That's all it is. It's programming. The biggest weapon. The biggest weapon that society uses on men and women and children and men and women and children and older people. Well, for the older people, they've already lived their life. So they've already been through their generation, but on the people who come from like the cell phone era and computers and and at the technology era, that's the era that's being programmed for real, honestly. That's the era that's being programmed the most, each and every day, in every way possible. And with all of that going on, there's also this other side to it that I guess you would say that they're your liberals, mostly your liberals and conservatives who preach another message, that they talk about the conspiracy theories and things that not everything that they say is agreeable, but I mean a lot of in a country where they say that there's supposed to be free speech, the speech gets blocked because of there's a certain narrative that needs to be kept in place as far as the programming goes. So those people have to go somewhere else with their message, and they can't be on YouTube, can't be on certain sites because for whatever reason, they can't get their message off. So they have to go somewhere else. And that brings us to what he's talking about.
Oh, very well.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. I was a misogynist for the longest time just for saying that men should have standards. If you tell a man he can have standards in a relationship in any way, you're a misogynist. It's actually very interesting because
what does that mean to have standards in a relationship?
But this is the thing that's so interesting about it, because they've gendered the argument when I never did. I said as a man, you shouldn't have a girlfriend who is a liar and a cheater, and you also shouldn't have male friends who are liars and cheaters. You shouldn't be around dishonest people,
yes,
male or female.
Amen.
And
Amen.
they gendered it and said, he's a misogynist. He's saying that men should only act this way with women, etc. I said that men should have standards, and you should have protocols that you're prepared to accept, and you should have hard parameters. And if a woman doesn't want to adhere to those parameters, that's her decision, and it's her prerogative. But you don't have to stay with her. Why should you?
What's wrong with that?
Well, that's teaching men to say no. They don't want men to say no.
So are you arguing that it's better to be with a virtuous woman?
I think so. Yes, I know that's.
No,
crazy.
I'm serious. I mean, that seems
I
like
am,
a good.
Tucker. I don't want to.
That seems like good advice.
I don't want to come across as extreme, but yes, I am. And what's actually funny is I really believe most of the things I'm saying were accepted by absolutely everybody 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and now it's public enemy number one. And it's because of the mass influence I have. At one point, I became the most Googled man on earth. At one point, and it's a scary situation I'm in.
But if you're arguing that it's really important for a man to find a good woman,
Yeah.
a decent woman,
Yeah.
an honest woman,
Yeah.
that's the truest thing that's ever been said. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the most important thing any man can do. I mean, I can just tell you firsthand.
Oh, thank you very much.
But see, if Steve Harvey says this same exact thing, men should have standards. Then it's like it's okay when he says it. But if he says it, there's a different, because of the person he is. They're like, no, sir, no.
That's an important thing. And you think saying that angered people?
Absolutely, because I'm arguing the only way to do that is via masculine excellence. I'm saying in the world we live in today, it's hyper-competitive, and if you want to be the kind of man that has the choice of women to choose a good one, you need to be an excellent man. It's no longer acceptable for you to just be an average Joe or below average. You have to get up, and you have to work hard, and you have to be smart and interesting, and you have to be charismatic and make some money and be in good shape, and you have to try very hard. And unfortunately, for them, if you follow that path as a man and you become successful in those realms, you end up being the kind of person who resists enslavement. You become the kind of person who wakes up and says, no, I don't believe in that. That doesn't make sense to
I
me.
can't imagine a better message than that.
If you want a good society. So then you have to argue and sit and say, do these people want a happy, functioning society, or do they want something else?
What do you think?
I think that I would never kill myself. And I also
Just throwing that out there.
Oh boy.
and I also think that when you When you want to conquer a society, you kill the military-age males. That's what you do. It's the first thing they've ever done. They walk in, and all the men have to have their throats cut. They can't perhaps do that, but they can certainly cut your balls off, and then you can't resist. And I think there's certainly a movement to ensure that there's very little resistance left inside of the number one demographic which is required to resist oppression, which are military-age males. And they don't want those kind of people waking up with any kind of self-respect or standards, or to say, no, I don't accept this. I do not need a ninth injection. They don't want that. They want you to sit and say, I don't need it. News said so, oh well.
So in the one interview that you and I did, you had a line that I've been thinking about ever since. I thought it was so interesting. I never thought of it before. You said that a lot of people went along with the vax, and that you didn't judge them because facts change. But now that we know that a lot of what we were told was wrong and some of it was a lie, it is a requirement of your own dignity, of your own self-respect, to say so.
Completely.
That's probably
And
another
people should
reason why
apologize.
they went after
I really do
him.
believe, and I have nothing against the people who fell for the propaganda, fell for the programming,
Yes,
for the vaccine.
yes, I agree.
Fine. But you should wake up and say, I was fooled. I've learned my lesson. I will not be fooled again. But if you were fooled by the MSM and took the injection, and you continue to be fooled, and you've not self-reflected, and you've not realized that they lied to you the entire way, and you now believe the new bunch of lies that are all over the television, then there's something wrong with you. You don't care that you were lied to, because I think a lot of this is actually genuinely cowardice. I think it's a very easy worldview. The life is easier if you accept the news tells the truth.
Yes.
Everything they want me to believe.
Come on now.
Simple, good guy,
Nobody
bad
believes.
guy.
Nobody believes that the
And if you wanna
news tells the
actually wake up,
truth.
there's a degree of bravery.
Nobody believes everything that they read on the
You've never
internet.
understood and everything you're told, and you have to really look at the world and go, oh.
But there are
this is
some
the
naive people who actually
And that
believe
takes
what they
bravery.
read on the
And once
internet
again, that's
and
what I don't
believe
want
what
to
they
do.
see on the
They want you to
news.
sit there and go, oh,
Like,
it's easier if just,
come on.
CNN said, so it must be true. And it's cowardice. And they're trying to instill cowardice in all of us. That's what they're trying very hard to do. And I think even just me as a person, the people who hate me, my detractors who dislike me so much, even if I say nothing, I just turn up, big, bald, strong, fast car. But it's just me. I'm like the enemy to them because I symbolize men who don't comply. And not don't comply in a negative law-breaking way, but don't comply if we don't agree with that or we don't see common sense in that, we're going to politely decline. And that's simply not allowed.
What's it like to have the prospect of prison hanging over you?
I think that I like to believe that this is a test from God. I like to believe that if you become the most Googled man in the world for saying that you have mental resilience, that God is going to make sure you don't have that degree of fame without testing you. I like to believe that God comes along and says, yes, I've allowed you to become the top G. We're going to see if you really are the top G. I believe that's how the world works. It's certainly intimidating, especially knowing you're completely innocent. But I believe it's a test, and I believe it's my job to pass the test for my ancestors and for people watching over me and for God. And I think I have to do the absolute best I can possibly do in the scenario and the circumstance, regardless of whether I win or lose. I still believe I'm going to win because I've seen the case file and I've seen that no laws have been broken. But even in the very unfortunate circumstance that this matrix attack goes deep enough to throw me into a jail cell, I think I should handle it like a man. I think I should stay and finish the process, and I should walk with my head held high and suffer as much as I need to suffer to stick by my convictions and know that I'm an innocent person. And I refuse to break. I refuse to cry. I refuse to be depressed about it. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to smile regardless. And regardless of what happens to me, I want everyone to know that, one, I would never kill myself, and two, I think that as a man, there's always going to be a degree of pain and suffering.
It's the second time he
You're never
said
gonna be
that.
A successful man or be good at being a man without pain and suffering. And there's many times in my life where something terrible happened to me, and at the time, if I could change it, I would have. But retrospectively, you kind of look back and go, you know what, that was formulative for me.
That's right.
That is what God decided I needed to become who I became. So all of the pain and all the suffering I've ever gone through in my life ended up, in the end, building me into the person I am, and I'm proud of who I am. So if God decides I need to go back to a Romanian dungeon for however many days, then all I can do is accept it and accept his plan and accept that it's going to make me a better person. And
So you see the hand of God in your life?
Absolutely. I think that he's the best of planners. And like I said, if you retrospectively analyze all the times in life you wish you could have changed things, he knew better. And I'm going to have
See, a lot more people need to think like him, man. Like,
that's
I
always
mean,
gonna be
in that regard right there, I feel like a lot more people need to think like him, man. You just take it one step at a time and just continue going in life with the test that God gives you. You know?
For a while when I was younger. But as you get older, you start to look at the world and understand that the thing for me was actually, I guess, a scientific principle. It was Newton's law of equal and opposite force. If there is evil in the world, and I'd like to think we both agree there certainly is,
yes,
there has to be an equal and opposite force, which is good. And I would like to think of that as God. Even the idea of God as a notion, even just as a concept, if that idea of God resists evil, then God is real. If you have two islands, you have two people, let's say a ship crashes, and you have two people who swim to two different islands. On one island, they're atheists, savages, and they rip you apart. And the other island, you get there, and they believe in God, and they believe they're not allowed to kill you. Even just their idea of God. God saved your life. So I think even just the concept of God in and of itself, if enough people believe and it makes them do good, then God must be true. And that's the equal and opposite force to the evil of the world. And this is how I view it. So I don't see how anybody with a conscience cannot believe in God anymore.
That's such a profoundly different worldview from the one that we're presented with, I think. Do you think that's maybe the division in the West between people who see those forces at work and those who don't?
I think the West is actually split between people who think and people who don't think at all. I think the people, there's no such thing as these two opposing worldviews. I think people believe there's worldview A and worldview B. I disagree with that. I think there's worldview A, the good guys, which are primarily people who do believe in God, do have parameters, do believe in standards, do believe in self-respect, do know how to say no. And there's worldview B, which changes day by day, based on what they're told, which means they have no real worldview at all. They just repeat. And they have no standards and they have no parameters. There's nothing you can tell them that will make them wake up and go, that's wrong, because they have no inherent morality. So you can say bestiality is accepted and encouraged now. It's good for you for climate change. And they'll sit there and go, oh, for climate change, well, off we go. And they'll just do it. So I think you have a camp of people who think, and you have a camp of people who repeat. And I don't think there's actually the opposing side to the good, I don't think function as a thinking populace at all. I think they simply repeat.
It feels like the conflict between those two groups is getting more intense.
It's certainly getting more intense. And it was interesting for me because, and I want to be an optimist, but I lost so much faith in humanity during COVID. If you would have told me how COVID would have gone down before COVID, I'd say no way. We're not that bad. I thought the people aren't that dumb. But when I experienced COVID, it's actually scary. You see how the Nazis managed to do what they did. You see how they managed to put people in concentration camps. You see it. And I had a very unique view of COVID because in the first days of COVID, when people were falling over in China and the Italian hospitals were overrun, at the height of the panic, when most people believed, because it was the very beginning, early stages, my brother and I had a very logical conversation and said, we're two military-age men in very good physical condition. If we die of this, the world's over. If it can kill us, it's zombie apocalypse. So why are we going to live in fear? So we found the only two countries that were open, which were Sweden and Belarus. We had just been to Belarus. This is before the Ukraine war. We had just been there. We decided to try Sweden. So for the first 3 months of COVID, during the height of lockdowns, when Florida was closed, when it was absolute,
I remember.
Yeah, when it was the craziest lockdowns globally, me and Tristan are in Sweden in absolute freedom. They had no restrictions, no masks, no vaccine passports, no social distancing, nightclubs are full, restaurants are open, perfectly complete normal society. Nobody talks about this anymore. Nobody talks about, wait, Sweden never did a thing. Everything functioned perfectly fine the entire time. And they don't have it. Where's their mass? Where's their illness of severe?
That's interesting.
Severe illness and death.
Yes.
They never had one.
Sweden decided not to join.
Living completely normal lives. Seeing the internet, and seeing this insanity.
That's interesting.
Like, well, surely if we just put up a few videos of us partying in Sweden in nightclubs.
That is
this will
interesting.
wake people up. People didn't want us. People ignored their own eyes. That's the scariest thing about everything is that they can get to a level where, with the media machine, where people will genuinely ignore their own eyes.
So what he's trying to, what he's trying to say is, there were countries that didn't. There were some countries that did not join in on the C-19 epidemic. That's crazy. Sweden was like not on that at all. That's crazy. That does conjure a thought into your brain like, what's really going on? That's interesting.
Understand how you can get people so brainwashed that they will see that the sky is blue, and then they'll watch that the sky is green, and then they'll look at it again and go, sky's green. It's crazy to me, but COVID proves they can do that. And that's why the war is getting so intense, because the principled people are saying, how can you still believe in the things that you're saying? Here is all the logical, empirical evidence that that is a lie. But these people are ideologically brainwashed, and they don't want to take enough. They don't have the bravery it takes to wake up and accept that they're being lied to. So they'd rather just, to the end of time, repeat what they're told. And it becomes more and more intense as it becomes more and more ridiculous. That's so scary. As it becomes more and more ridiculous, the more intense both sides get.
Yes.
Right? So what the future holds, I'm not entirely sure. But I like to believe, even my current charges, I found solace when I was in jail, that the thinking people are looking at this going, something about this doesn't seem right.
Well, I mean, it is a little bracing. I mean, when I discovered, I was sympathetic to you already, but, a man's accused of human trafficking. It's worth finding out what he's accused of. And when I discovered that there was no actual human trafficking charge, that's not actually human trafficking, I don't care what you call it, you weren't even accused of buying and selling anyone, then the next conclusion you inevitably reach is They don't like the guy. They don't like his views. Which is fine. They're going to send him to jail for that.
Yeah.
That does seem like an escalation.
Absolutely, but if they don't like your views and you're inspiring millions of people to resist slave programming, you become a threat. Like, they discuss me.
But you can't send a guy to jail because you disagree with him.
Shouldn't.
Yes,
But even
you
before I went to jail,
can.
Members of parliament in the UK
Come on now.
were talking about me and what a dangerous role model I am for young boys.
How many people?
So
How
they
many
launched this
people
initiative inside
are
British
thinking like
schools to
him
ban
and
my
actually
name
in?
said inside of any British school, and members of parliament.
How
were
many?
standing up in
How
parliament
many?
saying
How many
is dangerous.
people who aren't famous are thinking like him and are actually in jail right now? There's definitely some no names that think just like this man right here and are in jail for thinking that way.
He's encouraging young boys to have misogynistic views, because I'm literally telling young men to go to the gym and to stand up for themselves and believe in themselves and believe in something.
I remember that. I remember
By
that
extension,
controversy.
look at some of the sexual education books these children are being given.
They literally banned him
I
from
think
everywhere.
At age 9, I don't think a child needs to learn about.
And then he
Yeah, probably not.
came
So
back
they're
around
pushing
again.
that to the children, but I'm banned.
Well, they're also pushing weed and video games on boys.
Oh, completely. And you can
They
listen to
banned look. They banned him from YouTube and TikTok and wherever they could ban him from, right? And then he goes and gets a deal from a new website called Rumble, and he puts all his stuff up on there, and somehow all his stuff ends up still on YouTube. And like I don't think I ever see his stuff on TikTok or Twitter or Instagram anymore, but it still ends up on YouTube, even though he's banned. So crazy.
killing people all day long, and there's a whole, and Little Nas, he can have sex with the devil in his music videos. That's but I'm dangerous for saying go to the gym. And once I realized what was scary to me is, I said this to my brother. I said, once the parliament's discussing you, you're basically considered a national security threat at this point. You're a threat to national security at that level, and then all bets are off, right? If you,
What about the UK? So the UK has become more authoritarian than anywhere in the Persian Gulf.
correct.
How did that happen?
Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's very interesting because people still, the people in Camp B who don't think, a lot of them believe that the law is fair. I've had people say to me, oh yeah, what they're doing to you is garbage. Well, you need a lawyer. So yeah, I do need a lawyer, and I do have a lawyer. Thank you. But it's not that simple, unfortunately. You know, it's the law is very subjective, and if they want to attack you with it, they're going to do a very good job of attacking you with it. And that's what the UK does. The UK have these laws which are extremely subjective.
So what he's saying is Europe's approach to governance and their tendencies to use the law is their greatest weapon, basically, is what he's saying. Against like certain individuals, basically.
And they can use it as a weapon to basically silence anyone they decide.
But
or
why?
hurt anyone they decide.
England is the birthplace of free speech, of habeas corpus, of kind of framework of liberal democracy that we thought we believed in.
If they don't like
And
what you're
now
talking
it's a
about,
country where people are arrested for praying.
Well,
What happened?
good question. And there's a saying that I heard, and I don't know who said it, but he said that a sick country.
I mean,
adopts laws, like,
abroad is way more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe there was a story about like a child in like China who got arrested who got arrested for having a Bible, like arrested for having a book, like a religious book. Can you imagine? Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, you know how many Bibles I have? How many Bibles I own? I couldn't imagine going to jail for writings on pieces of paper in a book. But they took a 2-year-old child to jail for having a Bible. So crazy, man.
a dying man will try medicine. And I think that the UK is failing in real time. If you look at it in any metric, whether it's living standards, whether it's crime rate, any metric you can measure the success of the country by.
He said
fallen off.
UK is
It's becoming more and more
failing.
expensive to live there. The education system's gone down the pan. London is the stabbing capital of the world. You're not
Wow.
safe to leave your house. So their answer to this is just more and more and more laws. And unfortunately, as they do that, they're not even intelligent enough to actually attack the people who are doing genuinely bad to the world. They just make more and more authoritarian laws, and they end up using them to attack the people that the government doesn't like. And I ended up being one of them. And I think Europe in general has problems. If you look at France as we speak, I think it's on fire, isn't it? Most of it.
Oh yeah, hasn't France is like the main place that has gone and colonized other other countries, like mainly in Africa. Like, come on now, France is enemy number one to a lot of a lot of neighboring countries that they went and basically colonized.
They have issues, and their answer, what's a government's solution to anything? Law. What can a government do? No matter what.
But they're not laws that are aimed at fixing the problem that's right in front of them.
No, they're laws aimed at fixing the person who's talking about the problem. So why don't you get rid of the guy who tells everybody? Isn't that easier, Tucker? Why fix any of this? If we just shut him up, they won't know.
No, but that's like responding to a heat wave by breaking your thermometer.
Completely right. That's the plan.
Insane.
Plan one is to break the thermometer. We might deal with the heat wave a bit later. But
Get air conditioning. No, let's break the thermometer.
For now, there's too many people talking about the heat wave. So let's just break that. And then later on, maybe when we have time, we'll do something about the actual issue.
It does seem like a lot of this is an effort not to talk about the real thing in Europe anyway, which is migration.
Yeah.
And the UK, formerly known as England, and France have both been completely changed by people from other countries.
Yep.
And I'm sure have added good things too. I mean, I'm not, but they changed them, and in general, they're not better countries. And like, why can't anyone admit that?
But this is what's really interesting to me about what's happening. Is we're talking about masculinity and men who say no and men who stand up. But there has to be balance, right? Yeah. Everywhere in the world, there has to be power balances. If there's not a balance in power, there's going to be a vacuum, and that's going to be filled. If you neuter the native population of men, if you destroy their mentality to resist, if you tell them that every single thing about them masculine is wrong, and you basically feminize and unicate them, turn them into eunuchs, and then you import high testosterone men from the third world who don't believe any of this garbage, who grew up in a society where they understand the only way to succeed is to be a fearsome predator to a degree, what do you think is going to happen? Like, who's supposed to protect the sanctity of these nations and these settlements and these towns and villages? The police? No. In general, I would argue that it's the masculine essence that can be detected by the people who arrive. I guarantee if you were to put a bunch of these migrants in Sarajevo or Moscow, they behave themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling they just look around and go, not today. But when you neuter the native populace, then it's like, well, there's a power vacuum. And when there's a power vacuum, what do we expect to happen? So that's
what are the French going to do about it? What's your average Englishman going to do about it?
Nothing. And that's the thing. And that makes you wonder, is this purposeful? Like, why these two actions of neutering the native populace and importing these high testosterone third worlders are so at odds with each other. Is this purposeful? I'm not sure, but has anyone considered this? So yeah, it's interesting because you talk about
these are huge and intentional trends, and I mean they're historically transformative trends. They're a big deal, and so they're probably not happening by accident, right? There's got to be some intent. How could there not be?
That's right. And how do they expect all of this to end? And this is exactly what's happening with migration.
They just don't like it. They just don't like Nnjp because the way he says his message. I feel like that's what it is.
And I've been to Sarajevo, I've been to Moscow, I've been to these places, and I've seen there's a whole bunch of migration, and everybody seems to just behave a little bit differently. And I think that's because people understand
that men live here.
That men live here. If you turn up in someone's house and their house is pristine.
If Andrew Tate did his message the way he's sitting down talking right now, just like this, I don't think anybody. I don't think they would care as much.
You don't give a shit. If you turn up to the Western world and look at
then you're going to hit on his wife.
Absolutely. So what do we expect to happen in these scenarios, right? And it is purposeful, and it is scary that even me just telling men to go to the gym is seen as an act of defiance to the point where I have to be punished. I must go to jail. I must be silenced. Thermometer must be broken.
If at the end of all of this, no matter what happens, do you plan to stay in Romania?
I love Romania. I love this country. And if I am found not guilty, I will stay in Romania, yeah. I will still stay here. I don't believe in running away. I also believe, and perhaps this is...
Yeah, I didn't even want to ask you that because you've got a legal case pending, but I mean, presumably you're rich enough to run away when you have it.
Correct. I'm not going anywhere. I think if I was anywhere in the Western world, this would happen to me. I don't think this is Romania's fault. Let's put it that way. I don't think this is Romania's fault. I think if I resided in Switzerland or France or Italy, the same thing would happen. From knowing what I know, I think it was going to happen to me regardless. And
I mean, you kind of spoke it into existence, actually.
I get thousands of messages a day from Romanians apologizing to me. I think the people here actually like me.
My waiter at lunch yesterday is one of them. He wants you to know, yeah.
Oh, amazing. This is what I mean. Everyone understands what's happening. My problem is not with Romania. I don't hold any personal grudges against Romania. I think that this Matrix attack was going to come to me.
What is the Matrix?
Oh, boy.
Good question. I guess some Americans call it the deep state, but I like to look at it in a more global way. When I say the Matrix, I think there are certain agendas which are being pushed. I think the media machine and the judicial systems of the world work together hand in hand. I think the goal is to control people's minds to a point where they don't discuss anything that's important. The reason I use The Matrix is because I've watched that movie a few times and it has so many similarities to the... Have you seen the movie?
No.
You've never seen the movie The Matrix?
You've never seen the movie? I'm about to say you lying, bro.
I don't want to talk about it on camera. No, I'm very dyslexic and it's hard for me to watch video.
Got it.
Honestly.
Understood. But there's so many similarities.
He's never seen the
basic
movie?
premise is that humans' minds are controlled and put inside of a false reality so that their body heat can be manifested for the machines. And I don't
It's
think
not
that's
even just The
much different from
Matrix.
reality.
There are
I'm just
plenty of
saying what
movies
version
that
of
have
reality
come out
is
over the
on.
years that are completely remotely talking about distraction and social media and things that are here to destroy the human race as a whole and put them in a shallow state of not leaning on what they're supposed to be focused on. I mean that's there are a long laundry list of movies that are just exactly like The Matrix. But I mean, I think the reason why The Matrix is used so much is because it's the movie is an accurate depiction of the reality that we live in. That movie came out 20 30 years ago when I was like in like second grade, third grade or something like that. Second grade, third grade. I never understood that movie when I was younger, but I did think it was cool to see Keanu Reeves in the movie and him doing a whole bunch of like fighting sequences and things like that. That movie was truly it's truly ahead of its time as far as like film goes. But I mean it's a narrative that's in a lot of like television. Like directors and writers will stick things in a movie to see, hey, did you see that? Did you see what we put right there? Sometimes directors and writers be trying to like tell you stuff through movies without like telling you, so on and so forth. I feel like that's what I feel like when we start to like get on movies that like really have like a purpose, trying to let the public know some things without like letting them know things. You feel what I'm saying?
True. We're arguing over things that don't matter. We're observing a false version of events. And the goal of it is just to distract us long enough for our bodies to be used for the machines, to soulless. And I think it's pretty similar.
It's all control and manipulation.
And even then, there's a bunch of other similarities which are difficult for me to explain. You haven't watched the movie, but there are agents inside the Matrix, and the idea of the agent, the purpose of the agent is to make sure that nobody understands how the Matrix really works, and when you find out, they want to keep you asleep.
Yeah.
And any person can become an agent at any time. If they're not unplugged, if their mind is not free, they can become an agent, and their job is to keep you asleep. And you see agents all the time. COVID awoken me to agents. When I would sit and talk to somebody and they seemed perfectly rational and normal until I mentioned COVID, and then they'd fully change. No, it's dangerous. No, what do you mean? What do you mean? Are you crazy? My grandma got sick. And they became an agent instantly and started repeating the news to me. And I was like, your grandma got sick. How old is she? 97? Interesting. Oh, I better lock myself in my house then. Dumbass. So agents exist and the Matrix exists, and I think most people's version of the world is a false one. The idea and the world that most people have in their mind and how society functions and how all these things function, I genuinely believe is completely false. I think they've all been lied to. I don't think anybody understands how any of the world works. And I try and use some very simple analogies to wake people up. I said to one of my friends once, I said, if me and you could play video games for $10,000 and you could cheat, would you cheat? He goes, well, no. I was like, if I was whooping your ass and it was 10 grand a game and you could cheat, would you cheat? He goes, yeah. I was like, all right, so you accept that people cheat to win in a video game for a menial amount of money. You think they're not going to cheat for something that matters? I think they're not going to cheat for something important? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
How about to get the most important job in the world, President of the United States?
I would never kill myself.
That's the third time he said that.
Insurance fraud, you don't think, right, yeah.
That's the third time he said that.
You understand how the world really works. You know what was really interesting? I remember there was this big military coup in, was it Myanmar or Burma? One of these, there was a big military coup like a year ago or something. And nobody really cared. They mentioned it on the news a little bit. And I looked at it, and I looked into it, and they were talking about how the two political parties were almost 50-50, and then in the 90s something changed, and now one political party just smokes the other one, and the military took over to restore democracy and all this stuff. It's very interesting, the voting machines they use. Interesting, something to look into.
A lot of countries like that. Philippines, also true. Why do you think support for the war in Ukraine, support for Ukraine's side in the war against Russia, support for
oh boy, here we go with politics,
is kind of the bottom line issue for the people who run the U.S. government and for the American media? Why?
Here we go.
You could argue about it, but there isn't an argument about it in the United States. There's a position, and anyone who doesn't hold it is attacked and punished. Why? Why is that so important?
Well, the first thing I think we should all do is I think we should all give Putin credit for curing COVID, right? Because when his invasion happened, COVID went away.
So thought about that.
Think about it. It's almost to the day. So we have to give him some credit at least for doing it. I mean, maybe the bad guy of the world, but at least he cured COVID for everybody nearly instantly.
Fair.
Thank you, President Putin. Yeah, I, up until this point, never really commented too heavily on politics.
Yes.
But I understand very well, I like to believe what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. And what I will say to the people who are watching this at home is that if you are naive enough to believe that there are good guys and bad guys in wars, and it's as simple as good and bad, and that the bad guys are crazy, and the good guys want freedom, then you need to do a little bit more investigation into what's really happening. And when you look at the vested interest of any country or any person...
Can I just ask you to pause and just comment? That's the truest thing, what you just said. That is and anyone who doesn't understand that should shut the fuck up.
If you ever...
seen war.
Bro, if you ever want to understand any of the stuff that happens that has to do with politics, just go read this book called Beyond Tyranny. That will tell you all you need to know about any of this stuff. I don't follow politics at all. But to understand the system and the way manipulation works and the way politics sways people on each side, even though it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or whatever, you know, on both sides there are bad things that happen. There are bad things that happen. There are good things that happen. You know, neither one of them is bigger than the other. It's not about who's bad, and it's not about which party is badder, which party is doing less for this class of people or whatever. It's all about the manipulation. It's all about the control. Whoever it's like the ball goes in each of these parties' court each year, and they spin and tweak the narrative the way they want it to be tweaked, because the media is controlled, in fact, by both of these parties, for real, if you think about it. So it's like they can do what they want. They can do exactly what they want.
That it's Churchill versus Hitler is an idiot.
Well, I'll give you an example. When my father was still alive,
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, it's true. When my father was still alive, my father died 6 or 7 years ago. I was a lot younger. The war in Afghanistan was going on.
He died 6 or 7 years ago. How old was he?
56.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he died. But the war in Afghanistan was going on. And I remember asking my dad, saying, why do the Taliban even fight and resist the American war machine? They don't stand a chance. Like, why are these terrorists even fighting against the American war machine? And my dad said, they're fighting for their way of life. They want their wife, and they want their children, and they want their society and their language, and they don't want pride flags, and they don't want American bullshit, and they don't want to be told what to do. And they're fighting to be a culture and be a people which is independent in and of itself. Like, they're not the bad guys you think they are. They're people who are like, why are you here? What do you want? We don't agree with that. That's against our
That's
book.
true.
Fuck off.
That's true.
Right? So
why are you in our
there's no such
country?
thing as good and bad in any war. And people.
Who was your father?
My father was a chess master. He worked for the CIA when he was a linguist for the CIA, and then he was American. He was discharged, and for a story I won't tell, but he was a chess master, and it's very interesting. I encourage people to look at his Twitter. He still has Twitter at Tate Terrific, and everything he was talking about 11 years ago is so important now. 11 years ago, no one cared about. We had the Donbass in 2014. People cared a bit. But he was literally, he predicted the future. You want to see how chess players can see the future? Read his Twitter. Everything from LGBTQ, why they need your kids because they can't have their own, to the war that's coming and how Europe's going to have an energy crisis, to the letter. It's all on his Twitter. It's amazing to read. It's like you could tell the future. 10 years ago, no one talked about any of this stuff.
Did he live in the U.S.?
Yes. Yeah, he lived in America. Yeah, it's crazy. But he was telling me about a lot of this stuff even when I was a lot younger. And as we said, there's no good guys and bad guys. But when you have a vested interest in something, I think that people are relatively simple. You're talking about why the American government has such a vested interest in this war.
Which is not good for America.
Which is not good for America. So is it, well, we can say it's for money or we can say it's for power. What else would it be for? Is it really for freedom and democracy? Well, I think that's already been destroyed by Zelensky, hasn't it? So what is it for if it's not for money and power? And then you say, well, who's the money and the power going to? These are logical conversations. This is a very logical thought process.
I agree.
You know, wouldn't it be interesting to say, okay, I woke up, I'm an American. I would never kill myself.
That's okay. He said that like mad times already. He said that like mad times already. Like, bro, we get it. We get what you're trying to get at. We get it already. He done said that like 10 times already, bro. I get it. I understand what you're getting at, bro.
Going to America, or is it going to a select few individuals? Are those select individuals interested in me in my life? Do they care about benefiting me? Do I need to support the power grab of these select few individuals? Is that going to be a smart move for me to make, for me to have the best possible human experience? Like, this is a very logical thought process.
Yes.
People don't seem to think anymore. They believe that there's a good guy and there's a bad guy, and one team's completely good and one team's completely bad. One team's crazy. They often use the word crazy because to be completely bad, you have to be crazy, right? So you're crazy. He's crazy, just for no reason. Reasonless. Insanity. I don't know if you saw Lukashenko with the BBC. Did you ever see that interview?
No.
Oh, brother. Please watch it. The way he destroys the BBC. I thought I did the best job, but I take second place. Amazing. But yeah, and you just have to be critically thinking. And then after you're critically thinking, you have to be brave enough. And this is the real pandemic of the world, is cowardice. You have to be brave enough to look around you and realize, everything was a trick. Everything was a lie.
But why not be a coward? I mean, it's just a lot easier, right?
Well, it used to be. This is the thing that's interesting. I would actually argue in the 1950s and 60s, if you were to agree with every single narrative and obey every single law and do exactly what you were supposed to do and pay your taxes, etc., you'd at least get a wife who respected you. You'd at least have children who could go to school without being indoctrinated to a degree. Yeah. You could have a nice house. You could have a pickup truck. You could have a pretty good life if you just followed the rules.
Yes.
I don't think that's true anymore. I think that if you are a man especially, and this is what I talk about masculine issues, if you're a man who is born and you decide to do exactly as you're told, you're going to end up depressed, in debt, working a job that you hate, with a wife who doesn't respect you, with kids who don't listen to you, in a house you don't own, until she leaves you, and then you contemplate suicide a while, and maybe you might find some purpose towards the end, enough to survive and pay your taxes, and then you're gone. I don't think a man who just follows the programming is going to find any happiness. But they don't care. Why would they? They have no interest in masculine happiness. This is another thing that's very interesting. They talk about men's mental health all the time, especially in the UK. I'm not sure about America, but in the UK, they have this big drive for men's mental health.
We definitely don't talk about men's mental health over here like
that. It's hard to be a man. We commit more suicides when we're depressed.
Heck no, we don't talk about that.
I genuinely get thousands of emails a day.
It's not looked at as serious.
You can't help it the way Andrew wants. You can't tell him to go to the gym and stand up for themselves and have pride. What kind of man's going to have a solid mentality and not have mental health issues if he has no pride? It's part of being a man.
It's almost kind of like if he was just saying this from the perspective of somebody who's like a bodybuilder or something like that, right? I don't think he would even get this much flack, but it's like all everything that he's saying is they're like, whoa, hold on, buddy, you're doing too much. If he was a bodybuilder, I don't think that he would get chased or even have a magnifying glass on him. You know, there's other people who talk the exact same, almost to a certain degree, the exact same way. You know, you got your Jordan Petersons, you have what's the guy's name? There's another. There are quite a few thinkers and talkers who are just exactly like this man. But for some reason, he is the scapegoat for something. I don't know.
Proud of yourself. If you wake up and you're not proud of who you are and how you look and the things you say, how are you ever going to have a solid mentality? So when I teach things that genuinely help men's mental health, that's outlawed. No, you're not allowed to do that. Instead, you have to take our version, which is to pretend to care about men's mental health, but not give a shit. Give them a life they know they're not going to enjoy, pay taxes, and die. And men are the backbone.
Medicate them.
And medicate them. Medicate them long enough to keep working. The same way as we medicate farm animals. Just a bunch of injections. Yeah, just keep them alive long enough to get the milk. Milk's gone. Chop the head off. Boom.
They need to put you in prison.
They're trying.
Yeah. I can see why.
They're trying. And it's scary. A lot of people, but then what do? Do I just shut up? No. You don't think so?
No, you can't shut up. I mean, because in the end, your self-respect, your dignity is the only thing.
That's right. And this is what people don't understand. People say, Andrew, why are you fighting this war? And they don't understand that war is certain. You either fight war against injustice, and you fight war against the things you know that are wrong, and you feel good inside of yourself, or you accept the slave programming and fight a war with your own mind. You have to fight something. I can shut up and believe what I'm told in the news, but then why am I so unhappy all the time? Why am I depressed? Why does my life suck? Why does my woman ignore me? Why do my children not respect me? You're fighting a war, then you're fighting a war with your own mind. I'd rather have all of me on side and fight against what I know is genuinely evil. You can't escape the battle. The battle's here for all of us. So I've made my decision, and that's why I can't be quiet, because you just said I would lose my self-respect, I'd lose my dignity, and I don't think I can function that way as a man, and I don't think any man should be able to function without self-respect and dignity. The reason men died on the Titanic was for self-respect and dignity. They went into the icy cold water and died because they would feel honorless if they jumped on the boat and left the women to die.
That's right.
So when you have self-respect and dignity, you have a hard parameter, and you'll do things that...
I went and took a look at Andrew Tate's dad's Twitter. Man, got some stuff on here, man. He says the truth is, if I could clone myself, I would not. The better version of me already walked the planet. Love was my link to the future. Okay, here's another one. A dude circulates a list that unsuccessful people watch TV, but successful ones like him don't. In response, watch EastEnders Omnibus. I don't know what that means. Okay, it says life only has 3 categories: cause and effect, purpose and intent, action and reaction. When you master all 3 realms, you begin Tateism. So this ideology doesn't even just come from him; it comes from his dad. His dad is the real top G, because he has so many, like, there's like mad quotes here. It's like mad quotes on this thing, man. He has like mad things. I have to like go through it and see what he, like, all of this.
Which are deemed crazy or insane because you believe in them and you stick up for yourself, and that's why they don't want men to have self-respect and dignity.
Rather be a free man in your grave.
Absolutely. So I can't be quiet, and I'm going to say what I believe is true, and I genuinely believe I'm helping the world. I think that any young man who is a follower of mine, I will argue there's no influencer on the planet besides me who is genuinely benefiting their life. I know you're not big on the internet. I look at these other streamers and these other influencers. They play video games all day. They smoke weed on stream. They talk garbage. It's a bunch of drama back and forth like girls. I'm the only influencer or streamer who's genuinely talking about making money, because you need to have money to escape the matrix. It's very hard to resist enslavement when you have to pay the bills. Getting physically strong, because a strong body is a strong mind. Standing up for yourself. Self-motivation. All these things. I'm talking about genuinely positive things. Very few people are. And I think that is an extremely important message that needs to be told. And I'm not going to stop doing it because I know I'm genuinely helping the world. And they're going to try and punish me for it for the rest of my life. I think
it's helping somebody.
And I think when I beat this case, which I believe I will beat, I think something else is going to come. And it's kind of scary because I am a little bit afraid and a little bit intimidated by the incompetence of my enemy, because their standardized playbook is now failing in real time. The standardized playbook is the media attack, the lie, and it's not working anymore. And it got me a little bit worried about what the next move is. You used to just be able to lie about a guy all over the news and you win, right? But now it's like, shut up. So now what? I don't know. And that's what's kind of scary in my scenario, because nobody's going to believe any of the crap they print about me. Nobody believes it. Nobody believes it. Whenever I do an interview with the Matrix media, nobody believes it. They have to turn the comments off because everyone in the comments are just ripping them apart.
Well, you do seem very sad on the verge of killing yourself, are you?
Absolutely not. Really not. I never would. And
Come on, bro. Like, stop it already.
I have to keep saying it because it's scary, right?
Why?
But I believe you get 3 lives. I think they cancel you initially. And then when that fails, they try and put you in jail without a reason. And if that fails, there's only one option left after that. That's right. So I'm in a very scary scenario. But I guess...
Okay, I know what he means.
Couldn't get on the life. Okay. I just can't stop saying what I believe to be true. If a young man comes to me and says he's depressed, I'm going to tell him how to become a kind of man who's proud of himself. And if that makes him the kind of person that resists slave programming, I'm always going to be public enemy number 1.
You've said depression isn't real, or it's not, as the way we describe depression isn't accurate. What do you think of depression?
When I say depression isn't real, that really upset the world, especially liberals, because they all live on medication, right? When I say depression isn't real, I'm saying that because I don't believe in things that can take away power from me. If I believed in depression, I would have been depressed in jail. But I can't be depressed if I don't believe in it. If you don't believe in ghosts, how can you be haunted? You have 2 people in a haunted house. One believes in ghosts, one doesn't. There's a knock in the night. One wakes up, calls an exorcist, is terrified, looks for a ghost. The other guy doesn't believe in ghosts. Knock in the night, goes back to sleep. It's the belief in the ghost that gives it the power. If I don't believe in depression, I believe in feeling depressed.
I don't know if that analogy works the same with depression.
I don't believe in the idea of becoming a depressed person who has depression.
I don't think that analogy he just gave about ghosts is the chopping block to put up against depression. Some people just can't handle emotion. Some people can't handle when emotion comes, like when somebody, like a family member or a friend passes away. I don't think his analogy works the same as far as emotion, because emotion is something that you can't hide. We all have emotion at the end of the day. Some of us, like probably most men, are built to hide our emotion, and that's why his saying of like that has to do with like, oh, being depressed isn't real. That's a general emotion that men have. We hide emotions. So him saying that isn't like a shocker to me, because most men, we hide our emotions anyway. We hide that we're depressed. We do all types of stuff to get ourselves away from the fact that, like, hey, going to like see somebody, I bet you anything he doesn't. I bet you anything Andrew Tate doesn't believe in going to go see a therapist. So, since he says that they're, being depressed isn't real, hey, having anxiety and all that stuff. That I'm here to tell you that's real. It's real. When you live in a less fortunate area and you expect to hear gunshots every night, and you are blessed to get away from that same area that you have been around for years, and you go to a nicer area, a nicer neighborhood or whatever, you're not used to it. It's a different it's a different environment now. Do you know why? That's an emotion. That's impression. ADHD, all that stuff is real, bro. Like, people who have PTSD, who know nothing but living in less fortunate areas, like, come on, bro. Like, that stuff is real. Maybe if I was younger, I probably would have said that it wasn't real. But come on, that stuff is real, bro. That stuff is real. It's just everybody don't deal with it the same. Like I said, men, we deal with it the way we deal with it, and that's by hiding it. That's by drinking, smoking, whatever vice you use to get over that. That's how we cope with stuff that has to do with emotions and depression and all that mumbo jumbo. That's why you don't really see no men like that going to go see a therapist. It's just how we are.
I don't believe in depression. So why would I not adopt the mindset that makes me the most capable predator I can possibly be? Why not adopt the mindset that makes me as competent and as fearsome as possible? If you can install software in your own mind, why would I not install software that makes me capable of not only driving a Bugatti and flying on private jets, but sitting in a Romanian dungeon covered in cockroaches? I need to be able to do all of it. So why would I believe in something that made me incapable? I don't believe in depression because I think that even the belief in and of itself, when you feel depressed, you'll start to consider, maybe I have depression. Then you go see a psychiatrist who tells you you have depression, and they want you on pills. It's the belief that goes down the spiral. If I feel sad, I go, I'm depressed today, I'll be fine tomorrow.
So why, I suspect you're right, or what you're saying is pointing toward truth. That's my personal view. But even if I disagreed with you, I disagree with you. Why is that so offensive, what you just said?
Well, that's what's interesting, because when I said depression wasn't real, the number of people who would attack me defending depression, this is what I didn't understand. Right. You say depression isn't real, but depression's ruined my life, and it's super real, and it ruined my life, and I lost my marriage. I'm like, if I told you it wasn't real, you should be coming to me saying, tell me how it's not real. Please help me with my depression. Why are you trying to convince me that it's real? Why are you sticking up for it?
And why are you defending depression?
And why would I adopt the thinking of someone who's sad? Why would I? You're going to convince me to take your worldview. You just told me your wife left you, you're fat, and you want to kill yourself. And you want me to sit here and go, with my perfect life, and go, you know what? I want to think like this guy. You're out of your mind. I don't believe in it. And because I don't believe in it, it's made me the kind of person who can't become depressed. And the reason they don't like me attacking that is because depression is a fantastic way to subdue a population, right? If everybody's depressed, it's hard to have a revolution. You're depressed. Oh, they've locked us all in our houses. I don't want to go outside anyway. I'm sad, right? So depression is a fantastic tool of population control. They have no problem with you being depressed. They have a problem with you being the opposite, principled and energetic.
Happy.
No, you don't want the principled and
Positive.
energetic people. That's a problem. A bunch of depressed people, easy. If you had to invade a country, would you rather they oppose
Being positive is
based
based on like.
Okay, I would not want to be invaded by a cheerful army.
I feel like
You don't want them all to be
it's.
depressed.
I feel like positivity
So,
is
from a
faith
Rose army is
based.
your
That's
feet,
just
I
me.
agree.
Absolutely. So depression is a defended idea. You're not allowed to even talk about it. You're not allowed to help people get out of it, right? They like the idea of a depressed population. And this is what I say to people. Now, I'm not stupid. I understand like PTSD is real. I understand mental health is
Thank
real.
you.
I'm not saying that, but I say if you're an 18-year-old boy or 18-year-old man and your life is pretty much okay, bacteria didn't steal your eyesight, which could have happened. You never had a car crash and lost both of your legs, which could have happened. You're actually very fortunate. And you wake up and you say, I'm depressed. I think you're an idiot. I don't think you're depressed. I think you've been silent.
Oh, okay. I see what he means. I see what he means. Okay.
By changing your life.
I see what he means
strong,
now.
smart, and successful.
Well, if he would have explained it that way, then I would have understood.
You tried your very, very best.
Okay.
To become excellent. You
I
probably
get what
wouldn't
he's
be
saying now.
which means it's not a disease, is it? So
Okay.
So why would you, the only reason you're even saying you have depression is because you believe in it.
So you're arguing for cause and effect. You're saying if you live a certain way, you're going to feel a certain way.
Absolutely. And I also would argue that I think we've evolutionarily, even though I do believe in God, I think that we've designed ourselves and the human has grown into a way where if you feel depressed or sad, I think that's a fantastic trigger or a warning signal to do something. If you were to say to me, Andrew, you have to complete this monumental task. You have to conquer the world. I would say, okay, but I need a emotional motivation to do that. I need to be unhappy having not completed the task. You know, I need to be uncomfortable, right? If you're uncomfortable being out of shape, you'll get in shape. If you're happy being out of shape, then you're just going to stay out of shape, right? So if you feel a degree of uncomfortableness inside of your mind, I think it's just your mind telling you that something about your life needs to change.
Yes.
You need to get up and change something. Guys would say to me, I'm depressed because I'm fat and I have no girlfriend. And I'd say, no, you have no girlfriend and you're fat and that's why you're depressed. If you go change those two things, you'd probably be surprised that your disease goes away. I had another guy say he was going to kill himself. I said, listen, it's back when I used to reply to my emails when I was smaller. I said, make me a promise, get a six-pack first.
Of beer?
I said, get a six-pack first, get in fantastic shape, and then do whatever you want. Didn't want to kill himself once he was in fantastic
So he
shape.
did it?
Yeah. I have the before and after I put him on Twitter. Kind of interesting that, isn't it? So how are we going to say we have this disease, which is cause and effect? How are we going to say we have this disease where there's something wrong with you as a man, you have a disease because your life sucks? I mean, I don't think that's true. I think that your life just sucks and you should change it. And another thing I also preach, and this is another thing that's very important, I also think as a man, because life as a man is pain and suffering, and when I say that, because you're never going to be a good man or good at being a man without pain and suffering. You're going to have to go through a bunch of shit and have a terrible life to become a good man. I think you should embrace that and accept it. And I think that the correct mental model for men to have is a degree of stoicism and not to be too concerned with even how they feel. If I woke up today happy, I would have done this interview with you. If I woke up today sad, I would have done this interview with you. What's the difference? Why put so much importance on my emotion if certain things must be done? I must work, I must train, I must see Tucker Carlson, I must resist the Matrix.
You've got duties.
I've got things to do. So why are we going to sit around and talk about how I feel if it doesn't even affect how I act? And as a man, it shouldn't, because there's too much to do. And the masculine world is hyper-competitive. This is another thing most people don't understand.
Totally agree.
It's hyper-competitive out here. All the women want a few men at the top. The Ferrari, you don't want a Ferrari to drive fast. You want a Ferrari because other men want a Ferrari and can't have one. It's hyper-competitive. So if you're competing against every other man for every dollar you make, every girl you see, the house you live in, the car you drive, the life you live, you're not going to be able to compete with the person who performs regardless of how they feel if you only compete when you feel like competing, right? Because there's men like me out there who will be sad every day and outcompete you regardless. I don't care how I feel. I will still win. And that's the kind of mindset you need to adopt. So I don't, when a man
You've
comes...
got a job to do. Stop whining. Go to work.
Completely.
Yeah, I agree.
Completely.
Yes.
So when men say, oh, I feel sad, who cares? The world doesn't care. All the men who are out here to destroy you and take your girl don't care. So why do you care? Like the person who should care least is you. You're the only person who wakes up every day who should have a genuine vested interest in improving your life. Nobody else wakes up and wants to improve your life, only you. So if nobody else cares about how you feel, why do you care? So my argument also for depression is, you're depressed, fine. Have you trained today? Well, that doesn't change what you should do with your life, depressed or not. And I don't say this because I'm an eternally happy person. I say this because I've experienced all ranges of human emotion. I was in a Romanian jail cell with cockroaches crawling all over me as I slept. I never missed a day of training. I wouldn't say I was particularly happy, but push-ups must be done. So they got done.
You're very close to your brother.
Correct.
And you were locked away for part of that with him. Did you have fun at all with him?
Yes. I do think there's something inside of men, whereas if you're with your boys or you're with your group of men, there's something inside of us that allows you to make the absolute best of the worst situations. Maybe that's an evolution from war. You know, all the men went to war and you saw all this pain and suffering and you saw heads, people decapitated and you're injured, but then you sit around the campfire and you're laughing.
You're laughing. That's right.
It's something inside of us. It's like a coping mechanism when you're around men. So when me and him were together, no matter how bad the scenario or no matter what they tried to do to us, part of us would just look at each other like, cigarette? And you find joy in that. And yeah, there's definitely, and that's another thing I think a lot of men are lacking. A lot of men are missing is a masculine support network. I think buddies. Yeah. You know, you talk to a guy and say, what was the highlight of your life? What was the best time of your life? And they'll say, college football. It's not about the football. It's about the team. Yeah. You know? And I think a lot of that's destroyed as well. Because also it's interesting how everything interconnects. When you destroy honor and principle and the masculine essence inside of men, well, now as a man, it's very hard to have friends. I wouldn't want to have a male friend who had no principles, no honors, and didn't work hard and was always crying about being sad. What do I want to hang around with him for? He's a loser, right? So then your support network's destroyed. And I think that men have always needed that since the dawn of time, and I think that's gone. But
they don't have friends. Men, especially middle-aged men, have no friends.
Absolutely, because they've been told that to give them all away and do as the wife says, and then she left him. No wonder he wants to kill himself, wouldn't you? No wonder he's depressed. It sounds like the worst existence ever. And now we're living in a world now, especially, where everything is hyper-competitive, especially the sexual marketplace. Like if you're a 52-year-old, overweight, average income, no fame dude, and you have to find a girl, it's going to be pretty difficult to find a good one. It's going to be very hard. So we're like, well, of course he's lonely. And then his kids don't respect him. They're busy. Like, of course he's sad. Like, it's actually heartbreaking to discuss.
It is heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. But then how do you prevent that happening? Well, then you need to be a man of honor and principle and make sure that you keep your support networks and make sure that your woman does respect you. And a woman's going to respect you when she sees other men respect you.
Yes.
And they're only going to respect you if you respect yourself. But to respect yourself, you have to be the kind of person who says no.
What do you think of porn?
There's been some statistics, there's been some studies done. Most men, or less men, are having sex than ever before.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and
what
that's
is that?
Well, that's an extension of the fact that masculine virtue is being destroyed. That's the thing that's interesting about all these things. They psyop, especially men, they say, listen, women want a feminist man. Women want a man with no moral principle who would make sure that there's a conversation about who should fight the burglar when your house is broken into. Because
not this argument again, man.
Don't presume just because you're a man.
Oh my goodness.
Physically. Of course not. That makes you a bigot and a misogynist. So they convince men to adopt these virtues and ways, and of course, women.
I remember that argument that he had with XQC about, oh, if there's a burglar, are you gonna go down and defend the honor of your girl? Like, are you gonna make her go down, or are you gonna go downstairs and defend her honor against a burglar? Like, the answer to that question is like very obvious.
Large dislike them for it. So now, as masculinity is plummeted, a whole bunch of men are simply not having sex anymore, and then they become addicted to porn, which is cucking, effectively. I mean, two people having sex and you're just watching it. and it's become
good point.
I mean,
that's stupid.
And it's become a pandemic, right?
That's funny.
So men are
Hilarious.
replacing genuine sexual relationships with just the computer screen and porn, and it's becoming a very, very big problem. And that's also exasperated by the fact that I think the sexual marketplace has become globalized. This is the thing I say to young men. A lot of men come to me with problems, and my only answer to them is masculine excellence. I say that in the world we live in today, being a normal...
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I am tired. I'm going to stop the reaction right here because I am not about to sit up here and watch the rest of this, because he's like kind of like divvying off from whatever it is that he's supposed to be talking about. He's kind of like taking his landing strip and going in different sectors. But I mean, it's a good interview. It's not that it's actually pretty articulate. I mean, only time will tell how long this case he has will continue to will progress to maybe hopefully swaying in his favor if he truly is if there truly is no